We're ready to go when you are, Joy.
Welcome to TCH Live. We are here in Austin, Texas for our weekly 5-5 uncapped game, typically 5-5, 10, sometimes 20. Got a lot of familiar faces, most players buying in between 1,800 and 4,000. Got a 1K stack as well. This game typically gets very deep, and we will start off with our customary bomb pot, $25 from each player. 2 boards, PLO.
Checks around.
I am Kyle Frisbee. I'll be joined by Uncle T momentarily. Looks like just James is going to start off with trips on the bottom board and a pair of queens.
Yes, I completely.
Who else has some equity here?
Fold 8, fold 9, fold 1.
Got a bet from Manny.
Fold 3, fold 4, fold 5.
Doing his hand scrolls back through here. Got a call from Optimize. Optimize with trip 10s as well, but out kicking. Oh, excuse me, Optimize with the boat. His 10 has a friend. And king on the river, and we're actually going to have someone getting 3/4 here.
Showdown.
Yeah, so Manny, just James, and Optimize are going to get 3/4, sharing the same boat. A little unfortunate to be 3/4 with a boat, but not a particularly big pot. But Manny starts off in the win column.
What a surprise.
Yeah, Manny had a great week last time we played the 5-5 game, and got a chance to chat with him for a moment before the game. He definitely showing up with a winning attitude, I would say.
You're actually profitable.
He has a winning attitude.
He certainly does, and a style of play that's great for TV.
Aim for one more big line.
Had a lot of you chatting last week. Hop in the chat. Had a great time with you guys and Uncle T last week. Let us know where you're watching from.
What's up, everybody?
Oh, looks, we have the return of the collector from last week's private game. He was the big winner last week. Good to see him back.
Thought I recognized that hat.
And Manny starting off with a couple of Broadway cards. He'll raise to 50.
You give Tom an interview out here? No. You? You wanted me to. I got your
No takers thus far, and looks like Manny will just take down the blinds in the straddle. Bit of an unusual start. I'm not sure if I've ever seen a single raise win the blinds in the straddle on the first hand, but
Yeah, that's kind of unusual. Nothing really for anybody to call with.
yeah, don't worry, folks. This group is not going to be afraid to put money in the pot.
No.
See some other familiar faces. Just James in the 2-seat, regular on stream. Rick has been a regular on the stream. Hasn't been with us, I think, in a bit of time, so good to have him back. Of course, Manny, the VPIP champion in seat 6. Got Bones in seat 9, and there's a couple of Cowboys for JY.
Good morning.
And he's going to be glad to see a 3-bet from the collector with Ace-Jack. See if he wants to go with the 4-bet here.
Yeah, pretty good sized bet, too.
Played a fair amount with JY.
Yeah, we go back to playing live stream in the old building together.
Well,
It comes along very steadily.
Oh, he makes the 4-bet,
Oh,
gets
he
a quick
did.
fold from the collector.
Couldn't see it for the dealer there, but he must have made a fairly sizable bet.
I think he flicked out 500. And
Then we'll see that ace that always shows up on the flop.
It's a nice pick up there for JY on the second. I guess I'm losing count already. That was fourth hand tonight. For some reason, it felt like I guess that first one with Manny went so quickly.
Live 10.
Welcome, Poker Monkey.
What is Rampage up to now?
Good to have you.
Live 20.
Love those videos.
Got
Both
ready
of
to
them.
my friend.
Live 40.
Have you been to the Dallas or Las
Battle
Vegas?
is on. Whoa.
I have
TCH?
not, unfortunately. I've wanted to go. It's kind of a shocker that I haven't
I'm a little shocked.
just yet.
Have we been
But
doing that? I didn't know if we
Not
Have
really
you?
shocked. Yes, I have.
both locations?
Yeah.
Oh, Las Colinas.
Yeah, well, Dallas too, but Las Colinas is really nice. Dallas is nice. Don't get me wrong. It's busy. It's got a lot of action. It's very good. Las Colinas is really nice.
And Rick here with Ace King in the small blind. He will 3-bet to 250 over the top of the collector's raise with Ace 10.
Dan's already throwing smoke tonight.
The collector's now been 3-bet on back-to-back hands. Well, actually, previous hand he was 4-bet. So he'll make the call, tired of folding. He's going to be looking for a 10. Instead, it's 5, 6, 7 rainbow.
Didn't somebody have 6, 7?
He was sitting at like C3. I was sitting at
Quick bet here from Rick. Both players with just ace high, and the collector chooses to get out of the way. Does fold the worst hand.
Yeah, have we seen a turn card yet? Except for the bomb.
Yeah, I don't believe we have.
The last time we were here?
This is, if you're a regular 1-2 player, you're going to notice a much higher frequency of 3-betting and 3-betting wider ranges as well in a game like this.
Live 20.
Which actually, to me, I think is the most fun way to play poker.
Live 10. Live 20.
That's good. I like my opponents young and immature.
That's why I was talking smack already.
Raise 9. 60.
Yeah, Optimize one of the best talkers at the table on a week-to-week basis, I would say. Bones raising up 9. And Rick, again, goes from ace king to ace queen, and he'll make the call. And now Evan waking up with kings. This is a lot of premiums in the first 6 hands. Fold back to Bones, and what does he want to do facing a 3-bet of 280? Evan picked a pretty chunky size. But Bones will make the call. Both players pretty deep. Bones is getting the right implied odds to flop the set. Or attempt to.
Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, basically both you and your opponent need to be deep enough such that in the 1 in 7.5 times that you have a pocket pair, you flop a set, you stand to make enough money to offset when you miss. It's unprofitable. Like if you only have like 5x in your stack, what the bet is that you call to flop a set, that's unprofitable over time. Bet by Evan will take it down.
Yeah, Rick had to get up and step away from the table. He folded the ace, obviously, that came on the board.
Yeah, Evan.
Don't know if he would really want to consider that like a bet fold or not when you saw the ace, even because so many of the times you're putting the ace queen there. He had the ace queen, actually, didn't he? So
yeah,
he would have hit flop top 2. But yeah, I was thinking he had ace king, but he had ace king the previous hand. He had ace queen that time. Yeah, we're starting off a little nitty. I don't think it'll last.
He's got 3. Yeah. We've got a 10. We've got a 20.
They just don't want to pull a muscle, pull poker muscle.
Live 20.
Yeah, and some of these players are not as frequent on stream as the other ones, and maybe not as familiar. So players, will want to kind of settle in to some extent. And Collector again with a playable hand.
Has he had a bad hand yet?
Well, actually, this is 2 streams in a row that the Collector has seemed to wake up with the goods.
Hot early.
He raises to 60, and Manny will call with a suited queen.
Manny's been wishing he had some cards to play. He's going to play these. Don't hate that hand. It's a good call in hand. See what happens.
Optimize in there with 8-4 suited.
Dry flop.
Yeah, 7 high.
Good
Nobody
shot, though,
connecting
to
really.
Miles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he will bet his draw, albeit a modest one. Gets the collector to fold. The best hand. Manny now. He's out of there too. Nice semi bluff by Optimize.
He's going to show too. No, he did. Not a bad thing to do early on.
Yeah, for those calling it a nitty game after a few hands, we Optimize a nice semi bluff there, and he famously just a couple, maybe 3 weeks ago, won a huge three-way all-in with 5 deuce off all-in pre-flop. So.
Yeah, that was the VPIP Survivor game, if I remember correctly, and it was a crazy game anyway. But for it's one thing to call so you get a nice VPIP pre-flop. It's another thing when somebody 4-bets you, and you go ahead and call it.
If I recall, he just slowly kept getting priced in until it was like, well, now I'm getting a 3-way all-in. Yeah. And another premium jacks for Ronnie.
Yep, Ronnie.
EDM.
Just met Bronny the other night, officially. Nice guy.
Oh.
Very, very excited about playing on the stream tonight.
Why do I feel like it's actually winning?
Gets a 3-bet from Manny. Ronnie just calling, disguising the strength of his hand. So Manny
There's a boy band technically, I guess.
might be stepping into a bit of a trap here, raising the ace-9 apart.
Raise. C3, 300.
Now he's going to be back raised.
Wow.
This is really a very strong hand.
So we're going to be 4-bet city tonight, I guess.
Oh, I'm dead. I'm dead.
Well, you're calling it. It's to the end of the
Yeah, Rick's 8-6. That hand loves to see a flop, but got a little too expensive there with the 4-bet from Bronny.
There's a good chance to look at the menu.
Give me the free roll. Come on.
And Manny, nobody hates folding more than this man, and he'll make a call.
Can I get the real fingers a +1?
Both players quite deep.
Yes, 4. And then hope 0.
Starting the hand about 3K effective. And that'll be top set for Bronny. Fortunately for Manny, he does not connect in any way really, so yeah, Bronny is going to play it slow, and it's going to be tempting for Manny to want to try to take this away, but he'll check back.
Yeah, the 8 or queen will keep him in this hand, but it's a very, very brickish 2.
Bronny can't really afford to check again. He'll make a bet here. Goes very small. And that's going to induce a raise by Manny.
Boy, that is just like, Bronny's like, thank you, may I have another. He thinks Santa Claus is sitting over in seat 7.
Yeah, and even on the turn here, Bronny still sitting with the stone cold nuts.
And it's important to remember, this is a disconnected board. I mean, there are a lot of things that could come in on the river, but in reality, this is four-suit, 2 straight draws. Can't really anticipate it. Maybe 9 queen stays in this hand or queen king. But he's gonna take advantage of
Bronny's gonna keep trapping. He just calls.
that board
with
is
the
a
nuts.
tall board.
And builds up on the river, and we'll see what Bronny does. He checks and Manny rips it.
Oh, that is
gonna get
trappy.
Oh, I thought he said all in. I think he just bet 500.
Oh,
Excuse
okay.
me.
I did too. I
could have swore I heard the words all in. Pardon me. Bronny just trying to decide how much he's going to raise here.
Yeah. Well, he would have never paused if he said all in. It would have been a snappy. But
Raise. C3.
yeah, maybe he's gonna have to give it up now.
I'm missing all in.
Oh, and he just rips it. And actually, I think that is. He does not know Manny is on a stone bluff here and absolutely cannot call. But nonetheless, this is going to be a very nice start for Bronny. Pretty much a dream setup here with top set on the flop, proving to a boat.
Ace King good.
Grow up.
Jitsu says he used up all his talking on last night's game. believe we're talking about Bronny. Well, he did his talking with the top set there and drags the biggest pot of the night thus far.
I'm like, I gotta bet it. Hand chop.
That will put him up 1,300 early.
Good thing. This is bullshit. I shouldn't be able to know until like 4 hours later.
$10 straddle is on.
No.
I think the real key inflection point in that hand was when he went
guys got a
small
program
on
going.
the turn.
Yeah,
Induced the raise there from Manny, which, you know, for a lot of more aggressive players, that they're going to pick up a lot of pots there. That small bet is going to be weak a good amount of the time. So I understand Manny's logic as well. But Bronny just had it as much as you can have it, that hand.
But I mean, that was the impetus for making.
That was at the beginning, yeah.
Darren in chat says he played with Bronny tons. And yeah, apparently he's typically more talkative.
You know what it does?
He'll loosen up. We'll loosen him up.
Yeah.
I'll go out there and tell him a little bit that y'all are very disappointed with his speech
I gotta
play.
lose an additional, like, 70-ish.
So it was like 80. So you have to. It's sub
By the end of the season.
sub 200, right?
Yeah, sub 200. I'm like 270 right now. I started at like 284 or something.
Plus 14 pounds. 6 and a quarter. Yeah. So 325.
Give or take a few pounds.
Can't give the fat shot. Would you give me 15 to 1 odds?
Go buy him some drinks. That's a good plan,
Don't make
Jitsu.
the bet. Yeah, no, give it all to me.
Top
Give it all
pair
to
for
me.
JY.
But 15 to 1 odds, you win a G. I win 15 beats. Would you do it? I'm not offering it. Would you do it?
He'll take it down.
Every time I'm on this
Well, folks, this is TCH Social live in Austin. 5-5, uncapped.
The only thing these bets.
Got a good lineup tonight. I'm Uncle T. My partner, Whammo, Kyle Frisbee, is in the booth with me. Next week, we'll remind you that we're going to have our V-Pip Survivor game. Modelo Poppy's V-Pip Survivor, which is always more fun than a box of monkeys. It's like it may
Really
literally
is.
be a box of monkeys. Hey, we got a poker monkey on here. We're going to also introduce do some interviews and things like that before the game. I'm hoping next week to do some V-Pip Survivor interviews during the game. But look for those on our website and YouTube. Put out some reels with player interviews. Tonight we interviewed Manny Fresh and Rick. Ask a few questions. We're going to start incorporating that into the content of the show as it goes forward.
Hey, you guys will get to know the players a bit. Always nice to know them as a human a little bit. Kind of helps, you know, with the rooting interests. And I've enjoyed that on in other poker content as well. Bunch of hearts here, and JY is going to 3-bet and be 4-bet by Optimize with 6-3 suited. See, folks, this is not a table of nits. No doubt. And you really don't love being 4-bet with ace-jack, and yeah, JY is going to let it go and be shown the 6-3 suited with a smile.
Look at that look. JY looked at this guy like, that's 2 that he showed. So Optimize to announce his presence for tie.
And I love what Optimize did there in showing it, making kind of a assuming, and Optimize is a sharp fella. You're setting it up to have that loose aggressive image, and next time he 4-bets, I'm going to imagine he has a stronger hand.
25 to 1, I think I might.
Now that he's shown 2, yeah.
Take 15 to 1 and give me
I think
5K
that's a
if I win.
good assumption.
Nah, I give you way more. I'll give you way matter. What? No, I give you way more. I'd give you like 15K.
One could say he was trying to optimize his table image.
Dude, I need something just to kind of.
You know, folks, that reminds me. You know, just because you laugh doesn't mean you have a sense of humor. That's like just because you listen to music doesn't make you a musician. So
I wish the chat could see the way Uncle T laughed at me after that, or excuse me, did not laugh at me, just stared at me after that attempted joke. On to our second bomb pot here.
Well,
There's
I'm
a
absolutely
trip
certain.
threes
I'm
for
driving it over.
JY,
I'm gonna tell her.
as well
And,
as a gutter ball on the bottom board. Manny fresh. Got a little bit working on both boards. Evan with
He has nothing. He
a
has,
good
he has
amount of
nothing but
equity.
upside.
He
I
has.
think he will crush
See,
it.
what does Evan have here?
Fold 8, fold 9, fold
Bro,
1.
would you lose
Doesn't appear to be a
70,000
whole
6 months
lot.
Yeah, this is
I think
the
we might-
definition of dryness. We have a 3 and a boat for JY right now. That's why he's got the.
I need
Yeah,
to-
really nobody nailing this flop, and JY will just take it down with a bet.
Losing 11 pounds a month.
Did in fact flop the biggest.
I don't know
Yeah,
if I
he
need
did.
brain fuel left. I need to keep
No,
my
you
brain
wouldn't.
somewhat sharp.
No, I mean.
Yeah, and
so
everybody
we
else
would
kind of
do
whiffed.
one
I
of
mean, there
those
was a lot of
fast
draws,
games
but
again,
not
this
much
time I'm
else.
not leaving you. I'm gonna physically
E.
leave you.
McKenzie rooting for
I'm not gonna let
Bones,
you,
This is sounding a little
moving
too
boxes. Yeah, you know.
as well as the Handpan Boy Band. Thanks for the super chat. Let's go, Bones, and sick hoodie.
I don't wanna
Okay,
do-
get another
I don't
shot
wanna-
at
I don't wanna do
Bones'
this-
hoodie
I don't wanna
here.
do this to Bones.
Yeah,
In a
I
moment.
don't think I
$10
have
straddle is on.
I don't want Bones.
I was actually looking at that, trying to figure
I
out
feel bad taking the
what that top word was.
Yeah,
I
it's
saw
sticky.
Boy
It's
Band,
sticky
Yeah,
because
see?
for all the
and
work
it
I'd
was a
have
little
to put
wrinkled, but
in,
now you can see quite
have a good guy like
the
Bones
Handpan
have to
Boy
pay
Band.
up.
Guys are welcome to give me
Obviously,
more.
somebody needs to tell us what that is.
Yeah, would love to hear that.
You can bet you
Let
can't
us know
win.
in chat.
Fire away.
Dude, but, I mean,
Got a
come on,
raise
that-
here from
that-
Evan,
that
King
committed
Jack
at the beginning of the year,
offsuit.
That was achievable.
And
It's just your
JY's
personal,
turn with a
you
couple
know,
of
belief
nines
that,
here.
Maybe he won't be motivated.
175.
The Grexy hand.
Bones makes the bet with Ace-5 suited.
Poor man's Ace King.
Raise. Seat 2.
And just James is just going to rip it with Ace Queen.
Just gonna rip it.
Fold 5.
Wow, we're seeing a little bit of posturing. I mean, I've seen a little bit of, we're seeing some 5 bets, and now we see a jam, and we've seen Optimize establishing his range, so to speak.
Yeah, and I really like this jam by Just James. He knows
985
Bones' range can be a relatively wide,
Send it over
From the
here.
button.
Give me my 175.
and actually was correct this time.
And one thing you don't do is show those 2 cards
you go.
unless it is
Yeah.
a Stone Cold Bluff, and it was not.
Yeah, just make sure you don't
So-
put that in the pot. Pocket it.
Nice
to the
move by
side.
James. Gets him up to 1,200 plus in his stack.
Aces and someone with a Kendra.
We've seen that. You and I have seen James for a while now. He was in the live stream over the old building, and he's got the ability to kind of put his foot down. Maybe you thought this table needed a little bit of a, hey, I'm sitting over here in seat 2 shout out.
I'd say they work out.
James has played many hours of poker, and he's very analytical and also a really great dude.
I always like to ask people where they started poker in the interviews earlier. I was asking, so what brought you into poker? And Rick was talking about he literally is one of those moneymaker babies.
Yeah,
You know,
There's no answers out in the line where I'm like,
I am too.
you are too.
Yep.
I think it got a lot of people's attention. But his grandma, James his grandma taught him to play.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because similar to your story
Yeah, it was
with
my
family.
grandfather.
Yeah. Couple of 6s for Manny. He will raise and get a call from Bones with another suited ace. And boy, it's been the night of Cowboys.
Cowboys
Rick's
are nice
turn.
so far. This is the 3rd time we've had Cowboys.
I like.
Oh, I'm sorry, 250. I misspoke, guys. I'm sorry.
I remember I bluffed 40. I put in like 1.
Raise to 250 from Rick.
Manny will probably come along with this. See if he'll do a little set mining here. He's down a little bit. Would love to hit a set. Get it back in the black. Bones, after ace-5 of diamonds, has got the ace-3 of spades.
He tanked forever. I would have been so upset if he played.
He'll make the call. Is in position.
You're always drawn to a nut, flush, so.
You get a mineral water.
And
Point.
top set again tonight, Rick.
Yeah.
Only
That
a
would
3
be-
for Bones.
yeah.
It's kind of unfortunate
Set of
for
kings.
Rick.
I gave a chance to see me.
And in early position, he is going to decide to make the bet, which they may see as a continuation. But he makes it big. Looks like 450, 420.
Yeah, about
Yeah,
2/3
what's going on
pot or
there?
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, take that by the bones if you can. Take it. I will probably.
I don't think Manny will continue. He's kind of in the sandwich here with Bones, so he's going to give
Yeah,
up. And no spades is going to make it impossible for Bones to call.
Yeah. Well, I teed that one up.
yeah, that board's going to connect for some draws for a lot of your opponents who are going to flat a 3-bet in position. So I don't mind the lead out at all there from Rick. Although he did have an extremely strong hand. And he will be second on our leaderboard. You can see the winners in green. Folks who are stuck a bit in red. Stack sizes next to the profit along the bottom of your screen.
He did say he's on Taco Bell. Really? I'm Whole Foods vegan right now. Well, I mean, are you losing? Just living your life right now?
Yeah, I'm losing weight right now. The past 2 weeks, I lost like 2
Straddle
pounds
on,
in the past 2
live
weeks. I haven't been weighing.
We're playing 5-5-10 uncapped.
Fold, C7.
I'm trying to
There's ace queen for optimize.
Yeah, I'm sitting already.
So far, that's the best hand he's had.
Okay, go.
Doesn't mean he hasn't won hands tonight.
Yeah, he's been aggressive with some garbage early. Well, not necessarily garbage, suited one gappers and such, but
Garbage.
yeah, but
Well, I think that's everybody's trigger.
got a real hand here and gets a call from Manny with King 9, and that's going to be a nice flop for King 9. King 9-6.
That's C6.
Bedoink.
Bones, will you let me put another $1,000?
Manny's just going to toss out a little feeler bet, and
You're just going to let me off the bet?
it's going to be tough for Optimize to believe this, and he's just going to go ahead and raise it up.
150.
That's a really good play by Manny. You hit a board that strong.
Get to 220.
He's going to take about 12.5 seconds here to.
Yeah, he's going to flat. I love the flat.
I do too. You're just not afraid of anything at this point.
If you re-raise there, you're just getting all the hands that you beat that are weak enough or good enough to call to just fold out. So nice flat, and he will now slow play. Check over to Optimize, see if Optimize wants to
Yeah,
keep telling the story.
I was just about to say, Optimize is going to check this back. Now, unfortunately, there's nothing for him to call with. The hearts did come in, but Manny's got a big blocker in that regard, so he's going to make a bet now. Optimize will probably tell himself, well, as he snap folds, I'll let him get there maybe. Manny shows.
Manny shows, yeah.
I don't know if I showed with that hearts coming in that way.
Mouse.
Oh, Libra. He just pounds the flop.
Mouse.
Yeah, I think once Optimize made that initial raise, he probably just kind of shut down.
Yeah.
Unless he improved, of course.
Yeah.
How can I get more money out of this bet without putting any
Yep, no coolers yet.
I'm just going to keep talking about it because it bothers Bones. I did this. I got to harass him. Harass him until he just says it's off.
Somehow your lack of willpower is like yelling me.
5-10. Fold, C7.
And 15, that's the Kyle Frisbee hand, Uncle T. Well, he wasn't a Dallas Cowboy, but he was a Goliad Tiger, and that's his number.
Who?
Kyle Frisbee.
Oh, you
That was
were number
yeah,
15.
yeah.
Oh. Well, you're talking about yourself in the third person. I'm like,
Well, you know, I try not to make a habit of that.
does Kyle not try not to make a habit of that?
Yeah, Kyle typically doesn't do that. All right, I'll stop, Chad. Don't blame me.
C6. 30.
Oh, okay.
Manny gonna bet out here on ace deuce. Nobody with much of anything. In fact, Manny good with queen high.
Yeah, just James makes a bet in the cutoff. Just
Ooh, and
Just because he's
James
got
is gonna raise. He's a non-believer.
yeah, he's going to make a play in position here. Pretty unlikely that your opponent has an ace, and knowing Manny, he's played with him quite a bit. Like, yeah, Manny's going to take advantage of this.
Yeah, I like to raise in that spot as well because you put so much pressure on your opponents. Basically, if they don't have the obvious trips, they just don't want to swim upstream for the rest of the hand. It's really hard for them to continue unless they flop the big.
And it's working. So we'll have more bets if we have to. And the 3 is probably not enough. We'll keep betting.
Not a thought you have a lot at the 1-2 table because sometimes you
got
just,
something.
it's so impossible to put people on hands.
Yeah.
There is some trapping that goes on, especially when you hit a board really, really hard. But in reality, it's pretty straightforward. So as soon as you put that out there and somebody comes over the top of you, you know that door is smashed shut. James there
Oh,
was
okay, thank you.
I think it's service.
basically taking his position and turning it into aggression against the most
I might
aggressive
have screwed
player
up with this
at
random.
the table.
I shouldn't be doing crap off pictures. That's like.
And speaking of the most aggressive player at the table, Manny's going to 3-bet a suited connector here, 8-7 of diamonds. He'll get a call from the collector. Rick in there with the suited Doyle Brunson.
Shout out to
So good.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Collector hits top pair with a good kicker.
Yeah,
And he can hit, well, no, I was starting to say he could hit a 6, but it's actually, that would be a 4. Not much for him to call with.
yeah, backdoor diamonds. Maybe collector is just going to flat.
800 and 1200, something like that.
Very safe flop for king queen. What does Rick want to do here? He's thinking it over. I think these are going in the muck though.
Yeah. Doesn't like giving up his button, but kind of has to. Kind of a
Another 5. Collector with the check mark now. Manny's going to slow down.
Bones, you drinking today?
I am.
Like to
Water?
see about a $200 bet.
Oh,
We
you're
know
drinking.
probably unlikely to get
That's
paid
not
off.
like you, Bones.
Got to
Wow,
start
it looks
going
so
for some
good.
value.
I played with you once.
Maybe.
You will bet it,
Thank you.
and he does go 200.
hold on. Can you bring it
Yourself a drink, bud.
Huh?
Get yourself a drink.
You buy?
Yeah.
It'd be hard to say no to that. I mean, what a guy. Thank you.
Manny will get out of there. Nice spot for the collector, which is a mystery nickname. We know that from his
we
previous
got no
appearance.
help on the why is it spelled with a
No,
K
I'll live it.
conversation. The
I
collector,
just had whatever you're having.
collector's friends didn't give him up.
You know?
Yeah, if the friends are in the chat, it's another opportunity to let us know what that means.
520. Double straddle is on.
Yeah, that would help. Is that, yeah, that would help. Yeah. And how much is this one? How much is the broken?
510 live.
And while we get ready for the next
Okay.
hand, want to tell you about the summer series, over 600K in guarantees, 16 trophy events from July
The
15th
guy
through
next to that
28,
Chico?
as well as we will have a point system for player of the series.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. $10,000 guaranteed to first place. That's pretty hefty.
Yeah, huge for the players, and a total pool being distributed amongst the top players of 25K, and that's coming from the club, not from your buy-ins. So awesome value there at TCH Social here in Austin. And Rick, ace king, is going to raise from the cutoff. We'll get a call from Bones with 9-6 suited. 5-5-4. Bones will check it over to Rick.
Getting healthy, huh?
This is the second time Rick has had ace king and missed the flop. He will see bet again. Last time, that was good enough to take it down.
You know, little tubby. So we're gonna try to rein it in.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll inspire James
What did you say?
to win your bet.
And Bones will raise.
I said maybe I'll
Love this
inspire
raise
you
from Bones. That
to win your bet.
Probably not.
flop does not favor the 3 betters range, except for over pairs.
Veganism, man. Vegan's the healthiest diet. Whole foods, plant.
Oh right, yeah. Well, of course, this is not inspiring to you.
But Rick will come along. And correctly. Ace king high, still good. And a 7 on the turn is going to give Bones some more equity.
We played it in a few different games before.
He's going to need a 9-6,
You want to be like guaranteed to lose
a
weight?
9 or
You
6.
go raw vegan. You go raw vegan for like 2 months, you'll lose all 70 pounds.
Well, all you eat is fruits and vegetables, raw nuts.
Or an 8.
Yeah, so
You,
saying he's got
Yeah,
Hoping
we
I
weren't
think
seeing
you'd
the
better
8
go to
at the
carnivore
top.
diet and work
There's
out.
the 8. Now the graphics have updated. It's like there should be some more outs
No,
as well as a
Whatever
3.
gets rid of
It's easy
the
to lose
cookies.
power with carnivore.
I couldn't do it.
Now Bones is going to lead, and
Build muscle too, yeah.
yeah, pretty
hard to
tough
build
for Rick
muscle,
to
yeah.
continue
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Well, look,
Which is kind of funny to think about.
He'll get out of the way.
A lot of people don't believe me when I say this.
Nice job, Bones. Use that draw.
So like
Use
studies
that draw
show,
like a whip.
food vegans have higher testosterone than
I feel like when you watch Bones play, he picks up a lot of pots similar to that one that
female tissue.
a majority of less experienced and skilled players would probably have ended up just folding to that by Rick and moving on.
How about I go with
Daddy,
that?
nice pot.
You got the answer. Ta-da!
Ira and Pat rooting for the collector. Jason as well. The friends are back.
Yeah, we just
Good to
don't
see
know
y'all.
what the K and collector is.
I haven't met too many. Yeah. I haven't met too
And he
many
told us
manly men.
specifically in the last stream to ask my friends in the chat. We got a big bag of nothing. My partner hates a mystery.
Ray, C4, 35.
Raise from Rick. He's got ace-10 off.
Me and you play with Henry together before, right?
And Manny with the same hand. He will 3-bet from the
And
button.
We play here. We play at 2-5.
And Rick's got to be sick of getting raised
A couple
at the
times,
moment.
I think I haven't been there. I think I just called
He will make the call.
a long time ago.
You saw me there?
Yeah, I think I knew he's been like I haven't been in like a year.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Get the bluff off your step.
You like?
Well, that's going to be interesting to see who's the. This is going to be a hand won by Will.
Yeah, for a hand that's likely to be chopped, this is a lot of fun because they're both gonna play it a little slow and not represent the ace. Jack on the turn does bring in backdoor spades as well as potential straight draws, and
Real men are soy boys.
Rick's gonna lead out here, and I'd imagine Manny will make the call.
Hey, try going vegan for a day.
Yeah, Manny's got position here and the aggressiveness to raise. I'd expect to see it on the river. If it's if it's not a spade or it's a fairly something below a jack, and it is the definition of brick. It's got
Yeah, very safe.
Acme written right across the middle of it. So yeah, this is kind of the scenario where I expect Manny to take the bull by the horns. Rick will make a value bet here. Now it's saying Rick is winning this hand. They both got checks, obviously at the top.
Yeah, quick call. They'll chop it
Oh,
up.
he just called.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised that Manny, maybe he had a sense that Rick, that Rick wasn't fooling. So I kind of expect to see a raise out of that. That kind of board position is useful.
I'm fortunate enough that I can currently see.
Maybe he just thought he was out kicked.
Yeah, and I think just electing not to turn his hand into a bluff. Actually, I like the way both players played it quite a bit. In fact,
Is it getting
on
larger
those
or
really
is the
dry
belly just
boards
shrinking?
with a hand like that, I like the check from Rick particularly because sometimes you're kind of saying, or at least putting a good ember in your opponent's mind that you don't have the ace. So then maybe they turn. In that case, the jack on the turn, maybe they have a hand like King Jack, and now you're going to get value from a worse hand. So
Yeah, and that kind of goes with conventional wisdom. If you're in a pot out of position, you check more.
Her mother-in-law.
If you're in a pot, you feel if all things are equal. It's kind of the European thought: if all things are equal, the Germans win. But in this case, position wins. So if you got the late position bet,
I think this works.
I always say, what's the point of having the button if you don't use it?
Okay, thank you.
it's true.
As Rick gets the jack again.
Yeah, Rick. He's not afraid to mix it up. He's certainly not a tight player, but even if he wanted to play tight, he's being forced to play basically every hand.
I used to drink all the
I guess
time.
it was Ronnie that had the
Well, you weren't drinking, I
last
was.
time, and Rick got the set of kings. Ronnie got the set of
Ryan,
jacks.
what are you talking about?
So Rick and Manny, another showdown and another set for Rick.
We're just set city tonight. Flop sets.
Yeah, gutter ball for Manny. So Rick does lead out here on the connected board.
Never got it.
Certainly cannot play this slow with this wet board, although no flush draw just yet. Manny will make the call with his gutter and backdoor clubs.
K-Way doesn't want me drinking. I get
Does
too
pick
loose.
up a pair on the turn.
I get too loose, right?
Yeah, if it had been the 6 clubs, which obviously can't be, if that had been a club,
There's going to be so much confirmation.
there's lots of cards that could be. That is probably the least favorite card that Manny can have. He's like, well, I did get a pair, but I'm never good here. He is willing to see another card.
A lot of scary river
Like,
cards
play,
potentially, and that's,
singles match
as
for
you
about a
said
grand.
last hand, not really one of them.
One
Backdoor
game
hearts
takes
do
it
get
all.
there, but I think Rick's got to go for value again.
Yeah, well, you know,
It'd be competitive,
this
I
is
think.
more Manny's range, the hearts, than it is Rick's because he's let out all the way.
Yeah, and as played, I think Manny knows really no way a pair of
You just
sixes
don't
is
want to
ever
do it
good
'cause
here.
You don't want me
Yeah.
to, you don't want to hear me talk about it if I win, right, for the next 6 months.
Good build up,
Honestly,
in the end, but Rick will take it.
I want to hear you talk about your bones.
So round 2 goes to Rick.
Yeah.
And on to our third bomb pot.
There's some.
Thanks everybody who's hopped in chat thus far. We got a question from Jason. I think maybe he was here when we had our huge food talk a week or so ago.
It's higher than a grand.
Wants to know what's for dinner.
I had like grilled cheese with bad beef bacon.
Everybody in agreement?
That's fine.
Remember that?
Today as well?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, trust me, I remember because I was really hungry and you rudely ate that beautiful sandwich right in front of me, Uncle T.
You know, I was just thinking about your health. You know, you're getting up there in age, and I didn't know if you were, you know, in a position to take on that kind of carb load.
Yeah. Just thinking of my health. I appreciate that. That's very nice of you.
Yeah, it's a total lie. I was selfishly, I did offer you a tot, though, if I remember.
You did offer me a tot with your signature mayonnaise.
Yes.
Yeah. Although, I don't know if you remember this. I think we were at the same table maybe, but you offered me that one time and I did try it and it was, in fact, pretty good. So,
Wow.
I do have to make that admission even though I kind of gave you a little grief for using mayonnaise last week.
Yeah, it's such an East Texas thing. All right, let's see what kind of mess we got. Well, I see Bones has got a set of sevens, bottom set right away.
Got to be careful with the bottom set, of course.
Yeah, oh yeah. I act like I don't have a set at all. I don't see anything else. There's no other sets out there.
Yeah, Rick's got some straight draws
Club draw
and
for
gets
Optimize.
there.
Yeah.
Broadway on the bottom for Rick. Ian Bones set up to be chopping this. All else
It does bring
equal.
Optimize into having the nut club draw.
Oh yeah, double nut club draw.
Maybe enough to keep him around. Doesn't look like there's much else to keep people in. When he does, Optimize does call. But we're building up a little pot by multiple players here. And Bones is willing to see another card. He's got clubs as well. We know they're no good. Oh, he does have the straight flush draw. 9, 8, 7, 6. So a 5 or a 10 of clubs here, and I think somebody had a 10 of clubs. 5 of clubs here would be pretty juicy.
Oh my goodness!
Oh my gosh!
Uncle T, you called it straight flush for Bones.
And nut flush.
Yeah,
because
this
the
is
ace
going to
king's
be
on the bottom for Optimize.
this is going to be very expensive for Optimize, unfortunately.
Sorry, seat 9.
Diamonds get there for Manny, so Rick's straight no longer good. Just a really unfortunate cooler here for Optimize.
But like veganism, I've learned one time in my life.
Yeah, 975. Yeah, I misspoke.
Here comes the raise from Bones. Full pot with his straight flush. And a set. We already forgot about the set after Rick made the straight, so Bones maybe even thinking he has a small chance at a scoop.
But that diamond at the end, you know, that brings Manny in. So that's going to probably get Broadway out of there. Manny's never going anywhere. He's got the nuts. But he wants to collect out of that third hand. You always want dead money in a bomb pot.
And Manny just pots it, and Optimize is going to snap.
Oy.
This is going to be a very quick three-way all-in.
Action
And
is on seat 8.
oh, wow. Okay, so Optimize has not snapped with his flush. And this is a mark of a really good player. I don't think there's any way he's going to be able to get away from this, but he is aware of this straight flush possibility.
And Bones is like, oh, please, anybody but Optimize here.
If Optimize can get away, this would be one of the greatest folds on
I
stream
agree.
we've ever had. He has to
He
put it
can't.
in.
He just
Yeah,
can't.
it's just impossible.
Call 8.
Oh.
Yeah, he knew it
He
too.
immediately looked at Bones' hand because he knew
Yep.
it. As soon as Bones snapped,
But you have this problem.
He knew.
Queen 4.
Brutal
I think
spot for
6, 7
Optimize.
Straight flush. On the bottom, I've got. an
probably
8,
better.
6, and
Brooks, that's
diamonds.
why it's important to play within your bankroll, because if that comes up, you're just going to need
So
to be able
lucky,
to
Bo.
have a second bullet.
yeah. I mean, that is such a. This happened the other night on our bomb pot table, where somebody made a straight flush, and I'm looking at it, thinking, "Oh, if somebody's got the nut flush here, that's exactly what you want. You want that third party in the pot, bringing the dead money because you know that you haven't got much on the other board, and he didn't. His sevens were never going to be good, but
I gotta start trusting my 6.
perfect situation.
Well, I was trying to suppress the urge, but the exact scenario happened to me yesterday. I had the nut flush and a guy rivered a straight flush, and
On a bomb pot.
that was expensive for me. Yeah, it
It
was a bump
always
pot.
is. I told you about the guy that got quads, and I got the royal. And I was like,
Oh, yeah.
and I made a reasonable bet because there were 2 other people in the pot, and I was trying to keep them all in there. And when he told me, I said, "Do you have the nut boat?" And he said, "No." I said, "Did you have the quad 9s?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Brother, hats off. Most 1-2
Yeah.
players would have just jammed their quads.
Yeah, not even
Not
thought
even
about
been
it.
aware of the royal."
Chiefin says Optimize trying to. He was definitely not bluffing.
No,
he
he
had
was
the
not. He had-
nuts. He had the second nuts. The only hand that beat him was that specific 7-6 of clubs that in Bones' hand. So certainly not a bluff.
I mean, that queen 4 of clubs, because the ace king of clubs is on the bottom, was the nut clubs other than the straight flush. And that's why I said, well, a 5 of clubs would be a juicy card here.
Hey, did you talk to Bones about TK?
Guys, if y'all are okay with it, I'm just going to take his chips.
And while Dan gets this all sorted out, this can get pretty complex in bomb pots. This is when I'm not envious of our great dealers here. They have a tough job. But do want to give a little teaser. I was told we have a rewards program launching here at TCH. Do not have all the details just yet, but it's something to look out for. We'll have an announcement
Oh, you
at
technically
the
have
club,
the nuts,
probably also
except
on
for the straight flush.
TexasCardHouse.com.
As a king and the ace,
So look
yeah.
for that. I personally am excited and looking forward to the details as well, but I'm told it'll have some meat to it as well, as opposed to some other rewards
Yeah, you
programs
see
where
the
maybe
king
you
and
just
the
get
ace
a
on the other board, you're like,
you know,
this is great.
a free burger every once in a while or a hat. So exciting news from up top at TCH.
Nice. I'm looking forward to hearing about that, too. I did not know until you started talking about it. I was like, rewards program, like where I get 600,000 miles from Delta to be able to buy a weed eater, or
Yeah.
what's it,
Or,
the slap chopper.
You use your miles to go on a Hawaiian vacation.
I will say this: when I was getting all my big miles before COVID, traveling all over, I did get to go to Korea to visit my nephew, go to Seoul first class, because I always wanted to take an international trip first class. So, and all I discovered in that 13 hours of pure relaxation was I would never be happy any
in
other
coach
way.
again.
I should never have done it.
Yeah.
I literally, I got to, go out with the prettiest girl on the planet, and I'm never going to be satisfied again. That kind of thought
I
process.
didn't. It was one of those spots where
The very next time, I had to fly back in the bus coach, like in the last row of a Southwest flight, because I did it late, and I'm just sitting there hating life because
Cheers, Bones.
I had a bed. I don't sleep on airplanes at all.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe doze off. So I was in the galley talking to the gals and they were like, "Oh, we got some fresh cookies. Would you like them?" I'm like, "Yeah, this is the way to fly."
Yep.
So I got to do that. So this rewards is going to be better.
No, I'm very excited to hear the details as well. Not quite ready to announce it, I guess, but they did want me to give y'all a little teaser. So
That is the definition of tease.
yeah, optimize Ace King, see if he can get a refund for that massive cooler. Jack 8-8, nobody connecting. Manny with just 5 high, and of course, as you probably all saw, the knit game is on. See that with the beautiful yellow buttons that Mr. Uncle T bought.
Mr. Uncle T. Reverend Monsignor Mr. Uncle T.
And also on the graphics, you'll see it with
So
a
did
red
you say
dot
you played a 1-2
denoted,
last
and
Right on cue.
Optimize will get rid of the knit button first.
No, I was gonna get on it, but I didn't make it.
So Optimize
private
the
game,
big
but then a
so
couple
far
extra
because
seats,
of
right?
the one bomb
Yeah.
pot, 1.9. That was a biggie.
But as we know, and especially Optimize, he's a great player. That you can certainly go worst to first in the remaining time we have, which is going to be about 3 hours. We'll be with you guys until 10 o'clock Central here in Austin. Got a lot of you watching live.
Was it good or was it?
Much appreciated.
Yeah, I like a good one too.
Also appreciate you folks watching in the future, the recording on YouTube.
Yep.
Hit that subscribe button. Give us a like. Got a raise by Evan. He's got jacks.
Ronnie making a little bit of a, although he does hit on a very straighty board.
He'll
a little
lead
bit
out.
of a prospective hand. Yeah, guys, if you're wearing that hat, you got that shirt on, you should be drinking a Pearl.
9 of hearts. Got 2 flush draws working now. See what Bronny. He will check over, so he's not going to keep bluffing here. And this is the power of the knit game. Bronny might be worried that he's getting bluffed here, but as they say, Evan has it. Got an optimized fan in chat. Of course, that is Crypto Max. Thanks for hopping on with us.
Just hold the pre
Max.
flop.
He is an attractive man. He is. An
Had a horrible hand. Jack
Even with
three.
that dumbass
No,
hat.
just
I always tell him, why are you wearing a hat
paddles.
that way?
Yeah.
And I mean, when I paired the board, I had to do something.
And the tracksuit.
But I was
Like,
already- I
it's
was
a
only
uniform.
one time
That's what it is.
And
It's
it was
Yeah.
the mid-button, yeah.
I don't know all the
These games,
details,
just
but I
one
think
pair.
Optimize is maybe the president of a company or something like that. But at the
Yeah.
poker table,
Heads
you
up, like-
you would never guess with the backwards hat and the Adidas tracksuit.
Yeah.
It's kind of his signature.
Ace king.
Tell them I have
outfit.
an 80s flashback every time I see
Come
him.
on, dude.
Said you look like, you know, that song from,
Ah,
what's the song by, not Weezer, it's the other one that,
At ace.
first he makes a call with the second nut flush, then he
what's
folds.
that song?
Then this-
Not a music expert.
amateur
Let us know in the
mistakes.
chat if you know that one. Just James, Ace King,
I gotta start calling
come over
with
the top
second
bones
nuts on one board.
with a $150 3 bet. He'll get a call. Queen 7 suited for Bones, and that he will flop an open ender.
Check two.
Pretty close in equities between these two hands. Just James still ahead with ace high, but Bones with more equity.
The more I think about it, the more obvious a fold that is. I just
Got a bet and a call and a queen on the turn, and Bones is going to improve the top pair to go with his open ender, and just James will check over to Bones.
I would have had to believe that he was like, I mean, there's just, there's nothing that makes sense other than what you guys have.
Imagine Bones is going to have to go for some value here.
Like six
Pretty
people
wet board.
with some, like
Be interested to see what
marginal
sizing he
two-board
picks.
hand, which he would never do. So it's nuts. That's all it ever is.
Sometimes when you only takes 10.
Looks like he goes 375 and gets a quick fold.
Some guys can hold a lot.
He'll show down the pair of queens and lose his knit button
To fold.
along with Optimize. There will be a knit tax splash pot at the end of this game, so loser does have a chance to win back the penalty.
Just thought of the song. The Offspring. Pretty fly for a white guy.
Oh, was that the?
That's what Optimize is like.
Driveway. See the giant
Oh yeah.
outside of your house.
That guy's
Or-
name, the guy that is like Jamie something. He was a comedian back in those days, in the 90s. Jamie something. Yeah, he looks a little pretty fly for a white guy.
Or like he might be dancing in the Ice Ice Baby video. Or
No, that's a big flat brimmed hat or a big pompadour.
Yeah, that's true.
Under it. Yeah, don't even act like that dude was from Dallas. Don't even act like that guy. Bruce.
was he from Dallas?
Yeah.
No Ice.
Yeah, No Ice was from Dallas.
Mineral ball tokens. My mineral ball.
Ronnie gonna limp in with 8-5. Rick will raise Ace-9. Both players with their nip buttons.
You been playing a lot of poker?
And Rick gonna lose his nip button for cheap.
Really?
Nice result for
You've
him.
been getting good then.
Just a marginal ace.
You're still a donk, huh?
So Jason, you asking when are the live stream? When are we going to get player interviews? We are going to incorporate them into the live stream coming up. We're kind of working through the format. They'll be in reels to begin with. I interviewed Manny and Rick tonight. I was supposed to interview Pretty Fly for a White Guy, but he was pretty late. So because of the rain, so I didn't get a chance. I'll be interviewing next week. So yeah, and then we're going to incorporate them into the live stream as part of the content. You know, get some predictions about how the games go, and then link them to hands that come out during the night as optimized wakes up and jacks. And so yeah, we're gonna start working that into our live stream. Going to be some changes coming forward. The live stream in general.
Optimize gets a call from Just James with King Queen off, as well as Manny with King 6. And that's going to be a bit of trouble for Manny. Top pair for he and Just James. Just James with a much better kicker.
Optimize only having one over to the board. Thought he got rid of his knit button.
Yeah, I thought he did as well.
Very first hand, maybe not.
Yeah, but appears
Maybe
he
he
did
forgot
not.
to show. That's always
May have
with
forgot
a really
to show.
quick hand. That's where I see people make that mistake. Is they make a bet, nobody calls, and they forget to flip their cards over.
So Manny's going to bet with top pair, and Just James will
Get stronger.
didn't need it, but turn 2 pair as well. And Manny's going to keep betting.
This is where Blake will give it up. He does.
Yeah, it goes from bad to worse with that turn card. And what does Just James want to do here? Sitting on 853, I think the only move is probably to flat or jam.
3K on the day or something. I've got probably 7K in the stack. Well, of course, Blake sits down. It looks like 10K.
I like that name. The Ball Crusher. Remember the Crusher from Bugs Bunny?
Oh, yeah.
The Crusher.
Yeah.
It's like 2-bet 3-bet.
And he goes to the flat route, and this is
Oh,
going to get him a
no.
full double. Manny making a worse 2 pair on the river.
Ace on the flop.
And Manny goes small,
10 on the
but
river. Or turn blank, 10 on the river. He went, scoops me for.
It's kind of an interesting bet into this pot.
And
yeah, I think
I'm like, all right.
Just James's 653 is going to be going in the middle, most
You
likely.
hit him with the
He does rip.
That day,
We were just talking about this stack pot ratio thing. There you go.
Wow, and no snap call from Manny.
was ready to go.
He wants to know the count first.
Yeah, he's going to think about this with 2 pair kings and 6s. Would be shocked if he can get away, though.
Yeah.
He does call, and Just James is going to win a very nice pot, 2106.
Cooler at the end.
Yeah, a bit of a cooler there for Manny. Pretty unfortunate, especially knit game on. Players are going to be a bit more aggressive with the wider range. Josh in chat rooting for bones.
Yep. And rooting for likes. Thank you for that, Josh. Yeah, hit the like button, folks.
Don't get it in on the turn or the river.
This is TCH Social live stream from Austin, Texas. I'm Uncle T with Whammo here, Kyle Frisbee, on a Wednesday night. Somewhat rainy Wednesday night, which is always nice in June in Texas. Actually, July in Texas. We don't get into that. Glad to have you tonight. This is for our 5-5 uncapped game. Got a good lineup. Again, next week we do the VPIP Survivor Series, Modelo Poppy's VPIP Island, which is always a lot of fun. The following week, Greg Vale is going to be in town, the author of Scoop, the Scoop books, that series, and we're going to be playing Big O in 2 weeks on the 16th.
Yeah, looking forward to that game. Greg Vale got to share the booth with him our last Big O stream.
Yeah.
He is a wealth of knowledge.
Boy.
We'll get to see him in action.
But he wanted to play this time. He said, "Do you want me to commentate or play?" And I said, "What do you want to do?" And he goes, "I want to play." So he's got a lot of friends here. Samantha, Diego's going to be in. Mahesh, it'll be a good. Dante's going to play. It's going to be a good lineup. Very good lineup. And we'll have Kyle and Amanda in the booth. I will be in New York. Actually, in New Jersey, which is not as fun as New York.
Couple of sixes here for Rick. Instead, it's 9-10 queen, couple of diamonds, pair of tens for Optimize. Optimize will check over to Rick.
I'm going to Europe in a couple weeks.
Optimize not ready to fold. He will make a call with the best hand.
Amsterdam, Brussels.
Another queen on the turn. Actually a good card for Optimize. If he was behind a queen, he's
All the way down. Thanks, bud.
just a bit more behind. Doesn't really change, but that is a terrifying river card.
Yeah.
Going to tomorrow.
And Rick is going to bluff at it, and I think this is going to work.
I agree.
Super excited
Power of the
about
button.
it.
He gets check 2. He's going to make a value bet. Just 185.
Yeah.
It's basically pot size bet.
Yeah.
Just losing to what feels like everything at that point.
Yep.
You're Optimized.
Next October, there's going to be an EDC in Medellin.
Nice spot for Rick.
It should be pretty insane, yeah.
$10 straddles.
They also do one in Mexico City, I think.
Bronny and
Yeah,
Bones. Well, actually, we have a three-way tie on the leaderboard. That's a rarity.
Double straddle is on.
Bronny, Bones,
What year did you go to the one in Vegas?
and just James, all up 1,100.
Oh, nice. How was it?
It was incredible.
Really?
I couldn't believe the production.
Yeah, just
value.
James doubling his
Yeah.
stack essentially.
I haven't been since
So
2015.
profit
Even back then,
percentage
it
is
was
higher. His return of investment is higher. Always got to look at the ROI, brother.
Yeah, he's got a 110% ROI. That's not bad for an hour and 10 minutes of work.
It's always so funny for me after being in business and in PC world and all that for so long
C3, 200.
that ROI, which was always a business term and an investor's term and all that, has worked its way into poker.
Yeah.
But poker's become a business in the time that I've been playing. Definitely, it's become more of a business conversation. And whenever somebody says something, like ROI, or
Especially for tournament players, they'll talk ROI quite frequently. And top pair, queen kicker for the collector, checks through quickly, and a jack for Bronny on the turn. Collector's going to keep playing it slow here. And, oh no, it lets Bronny catch up. Two pair on the river.
boy, Dan is slinging it. A couple of coolers now.
Wow, and collector checks again, and he's massively under-repped his hand, and he'll flick in the call of the value bet by the collector.
I was
by
going
Bronny,
for the
excuse
flush,
me.
the straight flush, the royals, but I got two pair. That's not the runner I
Ronnie will
want
take
it,
down a nice
but
spot.
I'll take it.
Hell yeah.
And lose his nip button.
$10 straddle is
So just a couple of net buttons left. It looks like JY and Optimize, who you typically wouldn't guess that. I think he missed his opportunity to give it up in the first hand of the
And we're
the
down to
net game.
4.
I'm seeing
Yeah, it had to
just
scroll
jumped
through, so
around.
just James, Manny, the
Okay.
collector, and Optimize. Yeah, the long names. Make
I
it tough
see.
for
Yeah,
us.
It's at the end of the name, so it doesn't reside on the. Okay, well there you go.
May have to start to
Are you
put some
doing a
constraints
1-2
in name
private game
link.
again over here?
Yeah, you got to have a name that's short.
Yeah.
Cryptomax way too long. Collector way too long. Modelo Poppy way too long. We need these little short
I was
ones.
surprised.
We need to optimize our names.
Well, if we can get Crypto Max back, he
But
can
I
have
think,
whatever name he wants
yeah.
out. So.
I think Kristen would do a private game.
Raised by Rick.
As long as you
He's
have,
got
like
5-6.
a lineup. Yeah, it seems like they're open to it.
Call from Optimize with
Yeah.
Ace 3. Manny in there with a 5-4. Ace high flop.
Well, I mean, it's a 1-2. It's
Optimized.
not going to be like, yeah. But
Further in the lead.
maybe around like a 1-3 with 1,000 or something.
Rick and Manny also
Oh,
connect
that's
with the
bad,
bottom
yeah.
pair.
Like 1,000. that'd be bad.
500 cap?
No.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe like a 1-3 with 1,000.
I was
Like,
surprised.
or like a mandatory 1,000. That'd be pretty good. 1-3 mandatory 1,000. Everybody starts 1,000. But yeah, that'd actually be more
It got
expensive.
deeper as it went, just because.
So we got a bet from Rick, call from Manny, as well as optimized to a turn, and wow, 2 pair for
I
Rick.
played a lot of.
Binks
If you
it
make
on
one
the
where it's like
turn.
mandatory 1,000 start, like a smaller stage though, it gets exciting because a lot of people just like tipping it.
And you make the most with it,
So
and
you
you
like,
lose the most with.
sometimes there's more action in small games because people are willing to. Like, you got 10,000 in front, you got to think a little bit. Like, yeah, well,
He will bet 200 into 340.
If I played 300 cap, I'd be playing every sport if I could probably.
Manny out of there.
Yeah. It's a little harder decision for Optimize. I mean, that's sort of the way the action's rolled out. He's probably sitting here thinking, really? But he's going to make a call, see one more card. Well, like 3 could change his attitude.
well, it's like
Fortunately, it kind of brings the straight in. Now any 8 beats either
most
hand.
of Wolf gangs, big dudes, they're all in smaller.
Can't possibly know that. And if
Yeah.
Optimize takes in the big blind, if he takes the betting lead here,
Yeah.
might work. It's like a terrible board when you get so lucky as to hit your second pair of the turn. But that's 7 to come in.
I love the 1-2 games here.
Yeah. Unfortunately, can't do it. Yeah.
And Rick just checks back.
Yeah, too much showdown value for both players, unfortunately.
Nice spot for Rick.
There's also the private games where people
740 headed his way.
so like they play bigger. But there's some people that play bigger. Well, like yeah, I think you're probably right. It's probably 95% of 1-2 players or players don't only play 1-2.
Well, once again, folks, we're encouraging you to come down. Busy house tonight. It's been a busy week. I walked into 12 tables and I was like, yeah.
A ton of life in this poker room right when you walk in.
Yeah.
And I got here a bit early to be able to play ahead of the stream, and just kept getting busier and busier. And imagine if we walk out there, there's more and more tables running.
Yep. We saw some faces that we don't see too often, which is really great to see.
Yeah.
People I played with before, played with before over at Walmart. And it's been a great week, and the food has been awesome. Chef's got a great menu, special menu that's going on right now. So
I'm
come
willing
down.
to make. I'm willing. I'm willing.
Manny
to make
trying to get rid of
a,
his nip button. He'll 3-bet ace-4 off from the cutoff.
Realize also that the we may see a 4-bet here.
Yeah, nip button and a strong ace. He does make it 275 from the button.
Yeah, kind of see that coming in. Definitely wants to get this heads up if he can, at the very least. He does. Just a moderate amount of heat on this, though. Manny might make a call.
They found the bomb. We're going to do it after this.
Yeah, Manny out of there. Good fold.
Didn't like it. Made the right decision.
Yeah, I thought he might get stuck making a call there given the dynamics. JY did have the button and a nip button, but he has been a little bit on the quieter side of late, so
I don't think I've ever seen you do that, KY, with ace check.
does
You're
look
like an
correct.
ace king or a better person.
Yeah. Go to what's tomorrow night? Kelly Francis.
Okay, cool. I'm going to next time.
Where are you? It's funny he
No,
calls it
it's
KY.
I go to that and then Disco Dom the next
Oh, really?
Yeah, Dom Fresky, like disco concept.
That's like
That's like the
the
lube.
ultimate needle. The ultimate needle.
Yeah.
Where is KY?
I spent a lot of
Anybody
time
know where he
there.
is?
He was here 2 weeks ago.
Everybody is
real?
missing Mass Kevin.
Real hospital, not poker hospital? No.
Where is KY? What happened to him?
Oh, just shut up. I should have known if it's coming out of your mouth, it's some kind of troll.
Maybe Vegas? Maybe? Trying to think if I've seen Kevin in the last few days.
Check.
Check.
Check C8, check 9.
A lot of people in Vegas.
Another straight flush here, bud.
Check 2, check 3.
On to our third bomb pot.
Play, runner.
Back to one.
Got Bronny and Rick with some decent equity. Rick top set on the top board. Top board, of course, the furthest away from the dealer.
Bet 150.
Gotta stop having. Gotta stop having class. Gotta let you turn it over and show you my fold. That's what we're gonna do.
Rick will bet 150 and try to protect that top set.
Would you stop with all that?
9.
You can't run this.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Never feel totally comfortable until you get a board pair.
I've seen the house.
Well, you want to push those hearts out. And luckily, as we saw the hands go through, there were not any large hearts. So he's going to get it heads up pretty quick here.
Yeah, Bronny makes a call.
Walked about a half mile front of that.
Would you stop?
Am I lagging?
You walk 10 steps.
Does get 2 pair on top of this, Bronny. And now he has the spade draw on bottom, so he's kind of comboed up here.
No more than
House is so big it has
Yeah,
to sign.
Rick does maintain the nuts on the top, so I'd imagine we're going to see a pot size bet or near. Actually, it goes a little smaller. It goes 275.
He also can hit a 5
wanted to
now
say
to make
fountain.
the what would be the nut straight.
You definitely don't have to walk by
It'd be
the
the
fountain.
dummy on the
safe
straight.
size
8
in my
9 would be the best straight.
Now that's a
But
lie. That's a lie.
let's pick up a little bit on the bottom. You always
That's the
kind of
size
want to
of
have
your
both boards in play on bomb pots, especially heads up. You want scoopability.
That's your desert.
1K in the middle, and Rick is not going to love that 5 of
That's
hearts
worst
on the
card
river.
in the world.
Does still have the best hand.
Yeah, they're probably going to go check.
And actually, he improves to... the aces are good on the bottom as well.
Yeah, aces
Oh,
up.
you got me. I missed a lot of shit. I got 2 pairs.
Yeah, Rick's going to scoop.
Yeah,
Nice
he
pot.
went from hating those
No, he's got
cards
4 8 for straight
to,
up.
he's like,
And then we
let's get my
got
straight.
Jack.
Probably solidified somebody on the bottom
Aces for
for the
higher
set.
pair, it is a fold.
Then he gets the heart and the straight, which is horrible for top sets, and still scoops. That is like bomb putts in a nutshell.
It really is.
You
That,
hate life,
yeah.
and then you love life, and then you hate life,
Pop
and
button
then
is
you
right
love
in
life.
the middle, guys. The dealer button is in C8 for the.
So that'll give Rick now the profit lead. He's up 1,400.
Yeah, good night for
Heads
Rick.
up, we didn't
Had a
see
rough
one.
night last time out.
Oh, I said.
I don't know. I don't know if we up there.
Optimized still
They've got some.
in a hole.
Somebody is putting their private computer on the.
Yeah, for those joining late, Optimize is at the bottom of the leaderboard, but really not of his own doing. Got a massive cooler with a nut flush versus Bones is straight flush on the river in a bomb pot.
Tough time.
Bones and Manny chop that one up, basically chopping up Optimize's money.
$10.
Really, there's 2 niches
Yeah.
at the bottom.
Yeah.
Well, folks, we do have tonight. We do have the triple stack tournament going on. $2,000 guaranteed, $180 buy-in.
No, you
Triple
forgot
stack,
to show your hand.
75,000, I believe.
Well,
You buy it for that'll
he's already
be
live.
generally it's about 9 to 9:50 on the so I feel like playing Spoken, come on in.
Yeah, so
And we have as it
kinda had
stands
to
right
go,
now,
like-
it looks like
I don't like to go like unless I don't like to go heads up.
15 live tables going on, 8
There's
1-2
super
tables,
potential.
a couple of 2-5 tables going with the wait list, and
Yeah.
2 1-2-5 PLO tables, and of course my favorite, the bomb pot table. Also, I have Wednesday night
Oh my
the
God.
7 single draw
Can't
private
believe it,
game.
dude.
It's always a
I
lot
didn't
of
think
fun.
you were gonna be into.
And we will be having a deuce to 7
Technically,
tournament
it should be.
in the upcoming summer series, including the
They
deuce
ship
to
it
7
right here.
single draw live
Jamming
stream.
2 next hand.
$10 straddle.
Yeah, I know the PLO action is really ramping up as well. The
Oh boy.
dealer at my table yesterday had just come from PLO and said he dealt a 12K pot.
You're gonna have to pay after.
So they're playing big over there.
It is crazy.
All right, thank you.
Man, he might.
You know, it always was when I went over
Yeah,
to
but he's gonna have to rip it
play at
after me.
Walmart.
I'm gonna
It was,
rip
the
it.
theater table was fine. It was that feature table or the main table that just was nuts.
Yeah, those guys are a different breed.
Yeah. I think you got to be a little mental.
Don't do it on my big straddle.
Biggie,
Handed 2 cards.
Better be well bankrolled.
Yeah.
Be able to endure some swings. Even if you're extremely good, you're going to have some swings at
Well,
PLO.
it's the we always talk about the variance of PLO. Ace 1. Just like that bomb pot we just had, where you hate your hand, you love your hand, and then you hate your hand again. It's just.
Optimize still trying to get rid of that pesky nip button. He will raise it up with ace deuce off. Get called in a couple of spots. Ace 7 jack. Optimize. Top pair.
Hand position.
And Manny's going to lead into him with middle pair.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Optimize
Oh,
latitude.
I thought we had another 2 pair.
I
It's
did
jack
too.
8, not jack 9. Optimize a little pot control.
And now ace is up. He's not going to be afraid too much. He gets a little bit of protection with that bad kicker, which you always think about. But Manny's going to take a stab at it. Hard to imagine Manny has a 7 here.
I see Jack 8 for 2
Like it's just
there.
Lake's decision making is so on point so many times. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't even have a chance to say, "Whoa, what are we thinking here?" Because he's already
Get
okay.
that freaking thing out of here.
Correct?
I think so.
No, I think that's
Yeah.
good Texas English.
Yeah.
He's done had that phone.
Run this right.
Made his mind up.
I'm sorry?
And he's, I'm not going to compliment Blake too much, but I'm gonna. This is one of the things I was going to do an interview with him tonight, but again he was late because of the traffic and the rain, so we'll do that next week. But he's just the most steady, emotional. What am I trying to say? Help me out, Kyle.
Yeah, he regulates his emotions well. I don't think that's what you were looking for, but he never gets too high or too low at the table. Always
I
maintains.
don't think he has them sometimes.
Yeah, I've never seen him quit joking around. You really, based on his body language, you wouldn't know if he's stuck or the big winner.
Yeah. So really, Bones is the same way.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
just don't see like, and I'm sure it's the experience and the ability to have the bankroll to back up your play, and you're here to enjoy yourself, obviously. But it just, I think once I saw him raise his eyebrows and go, "Wow," that was about the biggest reaction I ever saw at it. So
JY ace king in the low jack. We'll put in a 3-bet over Manny's raise. And just James waking up with queens
hello, ladies.
has doubled his stack to this point. This would be, and he's just going to rip it, and I think we're probably going to have a classic flip.
Yeah, I think so. JY has been tight tonight. Can be a tight player. He may fold this, but consider he's got James covered, but I don't think that's really a factor in his thought process here.
Yeah, it's going to be over a 4K pot if he makes the call.
Yeah.
About 4,600.
All right.
Just James has not shown down
Call or
any
fold?
garbage.
All or fold.
2,055.
2055.
If you're wondering about the equities, the graphics do account for hands that have been folded. So, of course, we know this would typically be very close to 50-50, but in this case, JY would be in a little bit worse shape than he would hope.
Yeah, that he would guess. Yeah.
The reason you see this kind of most classic flip of all is, of course, if you have ace king, you block aces and kings. So the more likely hand that your opponent has is queens in this configuration. But then you start to ask yourself, are there any hands that I'm actually way ahead of? And that's going to be a very small number. Would my opponent do this ever with ace queen? Have to be a pretty wild player to do it with ace jack suited. So you start to ask yourself, I'm flipping or dominated by aces or kings, and he lets it go. I don't mind that fold at all.
You got to show. No, whenever you win you got to show whenever you win the bomb pot, right? Or whenever you win the. No, you got to show whenever you win the splash pot, right? No, do you have to show when you win the splash pot? I thought you did. Yeah, mid game, yeah. No, it's always been like that. No, I'm not lying. That's what no.
They're saying it's a rule.
No, that's the rule, yeah. No, everybody will see it anyway, but no, that's.
Shows the queens.
We've always done it like
JY
that. Just because it's a splash pot.
knows he would have been flipping now, but
See that.
actually, like we said, though, mathematically with the card removal, he would have been in some pretty bad shape
You guys are all going to see
for a massive flip.
Yeah. But that's the way we always do it, right? You
As it
show when you
stands,
win the
nice
splash
pot
pot,
for
right?
Just James, and now he will overtake Rick as the most profitable tonight,
I've
up
seen it both ways. Here, I think we usually do.
1,600.
people are on mention.
Got a ton of you watching live.
That's a perfect time to wake up.
Relatively active chat, more so earlier. Hop in there, talk to Uncle T or I. I'm Kyle Frisbee. Glad to be with you on a rainy Wednesday night here in Austin, Texas.
You're ahead.
Hopefully, for those of you who are local, if you got off work at 5, I hope you got home safe. The roads were treacherous. I got lucky. I got to exit right as the rain got extremely heavy, and it was actually hard to see out the windshield.
Okay, yeah.
5-7-4, a couple of spades. And Optimize just flops the joint here. He will bet. And Manny's going to turn top pair. This is trouble for Manny. Optimized with check mark. Manny leads right into the effective nuts.
Option play up here.
6-8, the only hand Optimize would be losing to, and he will raise it up. Gives Manny a look. And Manny jams, and he's going to get snapped. Big misstep by Manny. Cannot win on the river. River actually giving Optimize a slightly different straight, but 3,500 going to Optimize. Very unfortunate turn card there for Manny, giving him top pair. And that will get Optimized virtually out of the hole. Just down about what a 3-bet is in this game.
That's why, buttons, right? Why I raise, I'm like, I don't want him to have these close rows.
Looks like Manny will be rebuying.
You have their king on
That's definitely a great example of when it pays off to play some of those suited 1 or 2 gap cards. I believe, in fact, early in the stream, Optimized 3-bet with 6-3 suited. Did not connect that time, but obviously winning a monster pot. Here on hand 34. So while Manny rebuys, do a quick reminder of our summer series coming up here in July at TCH Social Austin.
Just one moment, I'll have you run these.
July 15th through the 28th, over 600K in guarantees for this tournament series. The club is throwing in a 25K bonus for players of the series. The player of the series will get a 10K bonus on top of their winnings. Already had the summer warm-up, which was a huge success a few weeks back. So
2000 in black.
It's going to be a busy July here at TCH Social.
Oh, you have been over.
Looks like Manny has added on 2K.
$10 straddle is on. 510.
I still owe you a trace invite, although with him, I pretty much don't know until about 30 minutes before he shows up. It's usually the girl.
Great.
Ace 10 off for the collector
Yeah.
from the hijack. He will raise it up to 35.
3 players.
Manny will make the call from the straddle. Ace 9 off. And wow, Manny has just rebought and setting up for a big cooler here. Both players with trip aces, collector with the 10 kicker.
I do have two. I have a brand, you know.
Bet of 50 and calls around. Jack of clubs on the turn. Does bring in the king 10 straight possibility. Also massive help for Manny. Now almost a certainty of a chop with the collector.
This is weird because I'm not making this up.
And Rick's gonna bet. Bets 135.
Second table from the back.
Manny just gonna flat. So now you've got a bet and a call ahead of you. You're the collector sitting here with trip aces. There are some river cards that you would be afraid of. You blocked the king 10, so that is a positive. We'll just make the call. And river is a 4 of hearts. Complete brick. And Manny and collector will be chopping. Rick will shut down.
Plugged into the local scene in a very tertiary way. He must not ever play it live.
It's like Manny's going to value bet 250 and would imagine this will be called by the collector unless he decides to raise. Is losing to some boats. Very unlikely Manny would have ace queen or ace jack as played, as he just flatted pre-flop. Likely would have 3-bet those hands. Flat call from the collector, and he and Manny will chop this one up.
Guys, it will be aces, queen and jack. The 250's back.
I have to be honest, try not to have a big rooting interest, but can't say I'm disappointed in the chop from Manny there after just rebuying for 2K after being stacked by Optimize. That would have been absolutely brutal. Speaking of Manny, he is the VPIP king as always, 63%. Rick and Optimize also playing a fair amount of hands. Bronny and Evan down below 20%.
So that was probably back in the original live stream, right? Before the new room? Yeah.
Long way to go, though.
I mean, literally that stream.
Do you see the VPIP numbers change quite a bit from
that was probably the original was probably lower quality.
now until the end of the stream at 10 o'clock Central?
520 double straddle is on.
A lot of that predicated just on early card distribution.
Paul did? No, it must be Doug Paul.
Hold 9.
One whole dollar. Anyway.
Oh, that's the only Doug I know. Is there another Doug?
$20 straddle on from Optimize this hand. Collector going to raise up a king 7 suited.
I'm surprised Mass
Barney will make the call with king queen.
Maybe he's taking a little break.
Hold 8.
Yeah, that's how you
Heads
go to
up.
Vegas.
We'll go heads up to a flop.
He probably is in Vegas. I wouldn't be
Neither player loving this flop. Ace high,
Yeah.
with a couple of spades.
Oh my god. Yep. No.
And there's a 7 for the collector.
That's the worst thing that came out of COVID. I mean, besides all the death, the second worst thing that came out of COVID.
Comes from behind and makes trip 7s on the river. Does bring in the front door flush, but
He would have been teased so much more.
seems like somebody would have taken a stab with a flush draw.
Yeah. Yep. COVID gave him the idea.
Collector's going to go for some value, and
You know, it's very common in Asian culture.
Ronnie will lay it down.
Yeah, I know, but he's
He eats with
too
his hands at the
American.
poker table.
Yeah, exactly.
He eats with his hands at the poker table with the mask off.
Yeah.
He eats with his hands at the poker table with the mask off.
Yeah, and then
I don't think
he
that's part of
touches
Asian
his
culture.
his mouth. He's nothing about him.
Chaco
Nothing
Dan
about him
says
is
Jeff
germaphobe,
Bezos didn't
except
expect to see
wondering
Jeff
what you
Bezos
might
in a
say.
5-5 game. We'll see if we can get Jeff to play sometimes. I think he's pretty preoccupied right now.
Yeah, he's got alimony payments.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit that.
Well, I'm actually a little ashamed to say that I'm aware of I believe he got married in Venice over the weekend.
Oh, he got married again?
Yeah, he married Lauren Sanchez. As a
And who is that?
she has a prolific history of dating athletes and other famous people. So, best wishes to the happy couple.
So she's in the mining operations.
She, yeah, and apparently very good at it.
So happy. Have you seen a happier guy?
Raised here by Evan, Jack 9 off on the button. Call from Optimize with a couple of
I gotta
5s.
agree with him.
Everyone's got to have Jerry.
Ace 10-10.
I've only, yeah. I don't even. I can't even
Optimizes
think
pair
of
of 5 still
Little
good.
racist about it, Jerry. I think everybody else
bet
can.
C5.
That's a little racist about it, Jerry, and kick everybody else's hand.
Oh my. Well, I don't think that. So Dan, how did you get canceled? Ball C8. Heads up.
Evan will lead out and get a call from Optimize. 7 on the turn.
As in, we're not worthy.
Pair of 5 still good.
Check it.
However you want to justify it.
Yes. Oh, I want to.
Optimize checks it over to Evan. See if Evan wants to keep bluffing. He does not. An 8 on the river will give Evan a straight. Optimize checks. Evan presumably going to go for some value.
JG saying Evans the brightest young talent in poker. That is number one.
That's high
ranking.
praise.
That is high praise. I like, nice guy.
Optimize with just a bluff catcher. He'll let it go.
Button is right, and guys,
Evan's
will
been
be a
pretty
bomb
light
pot
tonight.
this hand. Bomb pot time.
Hasn't had a ton of
25 up
hands
if
to
you are
play.
bombing,
So we will take that endorsement by JG and
James, it's your time to
watch
shine,
carefully.
buddy.
Yeah.
Where have you been playing
You
at?
used to call
while.
KY
Yeah, I've been
Evan
kind of traveling.
biggest kept
a lot of
secret
just family
in
stuff.
Austin
I haven't
poker.
really been playing at all. Taking a couple of weeks off.
Now we've got
Most I've
the
taken off.
number one
Several
prospect,
years.
number one ranked up and coming player.
You guys are popping my cherry again today.
8-player bomb pot.
Do they have like player rankings like they do high school football players? Do they have,
Well, they do. Hendon Mob has rankings, and
do they do it based on up and coming talent?
I don't know if there's an up-and-coming talent list, but
Can you imagine?
yeah, I think there's a few different sites that attempt to rank players.
You know, there's only enough bedrooms for them. Well, plus
I'll start paying closer attention when I think I might be on a list.
I have 4.
I think I got on there and looked at myself once.
I was ranked online at one point,
Definitely not Torque.
long time ago.
Check.
Check 8. Check 9.
This pre FBI days.
This was Moneymaker Boom,
Check 2.
Yeah.
Check
Poker Stars, and I had a good month of tournaments, and I was top 10 in the world.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bones.
Kings for optimize, but doesn't hit.
And checks through bones with a flush draw, but the board pairing on the bottom is going to make that less attractive.
Manny's
A
got
deuce
the
for
7.
Brawny.
Yeah.
Another ace on the river on the bottom board. King on the top, and optimize and just James will be the winners of this pot if they do not fold. Optimize will bet. River's top boat.
Yeah, just James with the nuts on the bottom. He hit all of that forward. You got the super boat. Just James just called.
Yeah, ace 10 did beat him.
Yeah.
But got a very one-way hand.
I see kings full
So
of
they'll chop
sevens.
up
I see
a couple $100
deuces
bucks.
full of aces. Classic
Pretty small
chop
pot,
down, chips
so
and
you're
birdie
gonna run
bet.
out.
Half here, half here. Bomb pot's right for the next
Oh,
one.
unfortunately, he was sitting on,
Button
so you
right,
get the extra
four.
chip.
So
Yeah, it's about time. It's about time I get the extra.
Dan in the box, one of the many talented dealers here at TCH Social.
You got the best.
I should be like, oh, yeah.
All stars keep getting stronger and stronger by the day.
Yeah, I mean, you could give me 10.
Yeah, it's been so busy they have had to add dealers. Some of the most experienced dealers in the area have joined the team, so great to see their faces at the table.
Doug would definitely tease you if he
I
did.
won't go into detail, but a bit of a blockbuster trade lately.
you're
We were
double
watching that
strategy.
in NBA. Well, we're very, very proud of our team. I always call them the All-Stars. Just the highest quality dealers I think you find in the world.
They weren't.
And of course, if you spend any time in the WSOP, the expectation is low. And all the players come back and tell me how thin that talent pool is because of all the ones they have to
It
bring
was
in.
two ways. It was two
All
ways,
the
because
casinos
it
with
was
all
the jab
the
and jab.
tournaments going on all over the city. Well, not that problem here.
It's 2v1. I mean,
Top pair for Bones. Yeah, I saw a tweet recently by a well-known poker player saying that at the WSOP they were having to tell some of the dealers how to split pots. Apparently the talent pool had gotten pretty thin.
Yeah, I've had that. Somebody, it's funny. Like, when we played the mixed games around here, especially the dealer's choice, there's always dealers you kind of have to explain things to
Going over there?
because they don't deal those games very often.
Yeah.
Bomb pots are so prevalent now. You would think that just about everybody has that down, but no, that's not what
South
we find.
South of Pflugerville?
Manny will take down a small pot.
Yeah, I know. Okay,
Could you push service for me? Already there. Already there.
Should like 45 minutes
Oh,
here.
man. Get out.
You play here more or?
12 notes.
You were under the gun and you got
We'll just let that hang. I'd love to just let things hang.
jumped the gun last time.
It's like one of those loaded questions that when your wife asks you, and
Okay.
you're just like,
Are you hot,
where
dude?
that look? Like, is the
You, got,
fifth?
you do have a,
Read the
you do have
fifth
a
in
hoodie
a
on.
relationship?
Well, there's been some
Yeah, I
strong
could take
reads
it
on
off,
the
but
table
I have-
and in the
There's
chat.
Yes, that's
Some
strong.
good,
That's
a good read.
a great way to put it. Good read. Good read, 12 notes.
Sponsored by Adidas.
Onto the Von Miller.
Yeah,
Hand
actually
40.
work for 30.
And 40. Von Miller?
Yeah,
Wow, dude. Bill Bates.
he was.
That's the Bill Bates ad.
Von
we
Miller
got
was
there, like,
40
early
at my beloved Texas A&M.
Is that a college?
Well, you wouldn't know because it's an institute of higher learning that folks that went to Texas just don't quite understand.
Tell those of us who are not familiar with this
now
kind
he's
of
like
thing.
hot
Is this
odds.
part of the University of
Raise
Texas system?
9, 425. Action has changed. All
Got a couple of Cowboys for Bones. He's going to make a big 4-bet to
I
425.
wanted to go to this 5-way for 150.
Bronny not going to set mine for that price.
Love these kings tonight. We haven't seen kings get pinged by the ace on the flop, which is every time I have kings. And maybe it's because we don't get to a flop with kings lately. Not bad. I do want to say, y'all can't see it, but I put up some. We're kind of in a closet here. I won't say closet. It's a nice room, but it didn't have much on the walls. But I did add a University of Texas banner and a State of Texas banner, and I even, just so my partner would feel at home, put up a Texas A&M hat.
I'm just now seeing that, and it's much appreciated. And in fact, I'm going to give you true props, Uncle T. I do like the decor. It actually feels even homier than I would have imagined. With a Longhorn banner, an Aggie hat, and a beautiful vintage Texas flag.
I was just going off of those odds.
Those hats that we had for the, which we're going to do this again sometime. The University of Texas versus Texas A&M challenge game on the live stream.
That was a lot of fun.
It was so much fun. So much fun. And A&M actually was superior that night.
Yeah, a little bit helped
A water chip on her shoulder.
Yeah.
Longhorn
You
Nation.
can't eat any kind of chicken.
Bones, king, queen off, jack high flop here, and a pair of eights for Manny is going to be good for the moment, and he will bet.
Some of them yes, some no. Some of them have beat McDonald's.
Get a call from Bones, 2 overs,
They spray them with like
some backdoor straight possibilities. That is not going to help. 4 of clubs.
liquid beef to make them taste nice.
Check, check. 2 a river, and trip 8s now for Manny.
My favorite thing to eat.
Again, not much for Bones to call with, so Manny's not going to get any action out of this. A nice fortunate card there at the end. That he thinks maybe
I really like acai
will get him paid, but it will not.
I like acai.
Little positive momentum for Manny. It's worth recapping, but I will do it with you, Uncle T, because you had stepped out for a quick break when this happened. But after Manny got stacked by Optimize, he rebought for 2K, and the very first hand, Collector raised with ace-10 off. He completed in the straddle with ace-9, and the flop came ace-ace rag. And I thought he was about to get stacked off again, but a jack on the turn saved him and gave him a chop. But yeah, Matt, it was going to even hurt me in the booth if he lost his rebuy that
I might
quickly.
have cursed Manny because in our interview, I mentioned to him, I said, hey, you had such a hot streak going. You had a great night the last time. Do you ever? What are your thoughts going into, when you just crush it like that? Do you have to fight a little bit of the I'm on a hot streak thought, or do you just totally neutralize it in your mind and treat every day like a new day?
Oh, that
That would have been true if you. Yeah, I had to step out. I got 2 or 3 players that were pinging me like, hey, how do I get on the live stream? So I had to go out, get contact information. We love new players on the live stream. We're going to have a lot of variation in our upcoming games, a few more curated games. And if you'd like to come play, get in contact with me or Kristen, our game runner here, our producer, and we'll make sure you get on the list.
Interesting spot here for JY. He just flatted Manny, kind of under-repping ace-queen suited in the hijack, and Bones has 4-bet the button with jack-9 of the same suit. He's just going to call.
I would have guessed you honestly own
Diamonds would be spicy, of course. Instead, 7-9 jack, and that is going to give Bones a straight draw, backdoor flush draw, and a pair of 9s. And very spicy turn, use of diamonds, both players now with a flush draw.
Well, that was on the button na turn. Na flop da sam mogao da baci na turn, nisam mogao. Imao sam za naći straight na oba 2 borda, imao sam za naći flush na drugi. Ne. Evo, imao sam 2 para najveća, imao sam za naći straight za oba 2 borda, imao sam za naći flush na jedan isto.
You have not tuned into AM.
Ali mogu sam baci na flop.
It reminds me of back in the day when, you would go on a radio station and start to pick up the next closest network bet and a call from Bones to a river. Deuce of clubs, and so pair of 9s going to be good on the river. 1,500 in the middle. And big bet by JY. He goes 1,200.
Yeah.
2 flush draws have bricked. So Bones knows that some brick draws could certainly be in JY's range. Bones does block some of those draws. Sure, all the things going through his poker mind at the moment. Put in the chat, does Bones call or fold? JY has been one of the tighter players tonight, was toward the bottom end of that VPIP list. But he does have a bluff this time.
How long you been so far?
Since 2020, when I graduated.
You like the job?
And JY doing what I recommend most people do in this spot like this. Pick a spot on the table, stare at it, and don't move until your opponent makes a decision.
Yeah, he is a gargoyle right now.
Yeah, it's
Staring down from the roof.
digital product consulting. I like the feel of like the small size company.
This is where the analytical part of Bones' game is so strong. Let's see what he says here.
You can have 9.
Got a ton of you watching live. Let us know in the chat what you think. Does Bones make this call? Be a 3,800 and change pot if he does flick it in.
Hands, looking at the posture, looking at the face. I think Bones makes this call. Wow, what a soul read going on here.
Optimize just enjoying being a close bystander.
Look at him, look at Bones.
He makes the call. And that's why Bones is one of the best players in the Austin area.
Yeah, that's...
He is going to win a $3,880 pot with just a pair of 9s. And really respect the bluff by JY. He had the image to attempt something like that, but Bones just snips it out. I think it definitely hurt JY that so many draws had missed on that river.
Can I get service? Oh man,
And Bones will take a commanding profit lead. He's up 3K.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive. You know,
50-50. He either had a boat or a missed flush draw.
Yeah, you know, I try to put this out for the 1-2 players. Obviously, the more advanced players, this is not a big revelation. But go back and watch
Remind me not to bluff
that was
Bones.
hand 42. Go back and watch that hand a couple times. Watch the process that Bones went through. Think about what you think about in a hand like that. Because I guarantee you, he's got a checklist of things that he's going through. Previous action of the player previously in other hands. What could he have? Why would he bet this much? You know, there's a whole list of things, and Bones is about 5 layers deeper than I'll ever be. So, and then he's looking at the player for certain tells.
Live 10.
It's just kind of one of those things where, yeah, I would call too, B, but I saw the cards. It's just one of those things where I'll probably go back and watch that hand a couple times.
Yeah, there's definitely something to be learned from there. And if you were to go back and watch it as from a just instructional kind of thing, it's every action mattered on every street there that led up to Bones coming to that correct decision. And goes without saying, call of the night. Collector with the suited 7-8. He'll 3-bet to 125 over the top of Manny and Optimize.
Optimize gave up the best hand.
Ace 4-5. Gutter ball for the collector. Jack high actually still good for Manny. As the pre-flop 3-better, of course, that ace high flop is going to favor the collector's range. See if Manny wants to continue with his gut shot.
Yeah, Manny's not got the gut shot. It's actually collector has the gut shot.
Oh, excuse me, the collector with the gut shot. Sorry.
I don't know what you said, but I knew what you meant.
Had the hands backward, folks. It happens.
It does. It does.
Thanks, Uncle T.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for, buddy. I'm here for you.
Need a halfway point.
See, I talk less, so I make less mistakes, so I can sit back and correct your mistakes. That's,
Yeah.
That's my game plan coming into this, live stream.
Just
Let Kyle talk the most, make the most mistakes, correct him, then look like a
just
genius.
let me fumble the ball everywhere and just keep jumping on my fumbles.
Well, the quarterback always does handle the ball the most, so just take consolation.
On a big rock.
What was your number in school?
15. I was 15 in football and baseball.
Raise.
There was a reason you were number 15 and I was number 35. They didn't want me to handle the ball, right?
Bronny with a couple ladies.
Raise.
He will put in sizable raise. $205. Not overly huge.
The 4-part 6 of
As a
clubs
3-bet size.
flipped over in a bowl there in the muck, not coming out.
As you were talking about earlier, some of the
My
differences
pocket
between a
sixes
game like
ain't no
this
good
and your
no more.
typical 1-2 game.
That's
You'll see a lot of these players, they go bigger than your
Does that
average
bet have
1-2
to-
player in their 3 and
does that
4
bet
bet
have to
sizing.
stay?
Not just in terms, of course, of the dollars, but in the percentage of the
That's,
pot.
Sounds like you had a 6.
Fold, see. I guess it's 4 parts, 6 of clubs in the muck. Hopefully not coming. 2 players.
Or maybe a better way of saying it, how many X the previous bet was. 10 Jack 4, Rainbow,
Manny
gutter
needs-
ball for Manny, but
He needs those queens.
Bronny's got all his outs.
Great board.
That's 250.
Manny just not hitting a lot of boards. He's played a wide range, but he's just not hitting much. He's going to make the call. Does know that he's blocked pretty effectively.
Has up through.
Deuce of diamonds, brick on the river, queen still good for Bronny.
Bet 200. C3.
Pretty quickly puts out a $200 bet, and Manny with just king high here. He's going to have to let it go.
That's right. Shows the queen.
Well, folks, really glad to have you. I've seen a lot of people in the chat. Glad to have you with us.
I hate those damn open-enders.
This is TCH Social live from Austin, Texas. I'm Uncle T here with the Whammo.
King
Kyle
Queen,
Crispy,
dude. I
with our
can't.
5-5 uncapped. Want to remind you that we are coming up as Dan distributes this in. I'll show the graphic here in a minute, but we are coming up with our summer series of tournaments. Largest pots of the night being popped up.
Start us off. You're under the
Really appreciate that. Wish we could have looked at them a little bit longer. But we've had some big ones. Had the largest being Bones getting the straight flush on his bomb pot. That was a $65,500 pot. And then just very recently, Bones also being the benefactor of a $3,800 soul read. Following off with second pair.
Yeah, definitely earned that one, no doubt.
Yeah, one was fortunate and one was skill.
Much different feeling winning a huge pot like that when you earn it with a great call like that versus just coolering someone.
Well, making a straight flush the bomb pot is a little bit like, dancing at a big club with a pretty girl. You kind of, that was kind of fortunate. You got your one dance and you move on to the next thing. But when you do that soul
Bones,
read,
I'm never
that's
bluffing you like that.
That's
ever.
something that can make you feel good about your game. Now,
Yeah.
nobody needs to make Bones feel good about his game, I'm sure. But yeah, it's not just earning. It's something you drive home and think about.
100%.
I loved my process there. How can I do that more in the future? How can I reinforce my game with that kind of read?
Yeah, I think tendency of a lot of players is maybe to beat themselves up or sulk about their bad plays, but you need to reinforce the good plays too and think about what you did right. And also consider possibly it wasn't the right thing to do, but you just got lucky. Maybe you shouldn't do it again. It's not another one.
Yeah. Well, we had ace-10 between these two players before. Now we got 10-2 on a very, very moist spot. And this time, Rick takes it down with a bet. You know, last time he went check, and they chopped it.
Yeah, Rick gets Manny off the chop. Nicely played by him.
Now, Bones?
Can't fault Manny for letting that one go. Pretty scary board for just a pair of tens.
Yeah, Rick's been up all night, still up. You can see the leaders here as we go.
Wednesday, or Friday.
Again, let Kyle tell you about our tournament series.
I got a job.
Yes, Summer Series again coming here in July, 15th through the 28th. There will be 16 trophies awarded, as well as a player of the series. The club is throwing in a $25,000 prize pool to the top players.
Good job,
in the
work like
point
that.
system. First place will receive an extra 10 grand above all their winnings in the tournament. 600K plus.
That's
Here
gonna
at
be a fun
TCH Social.
series. Yeah, get online. If you come to TCH Social, you'll also see a QR code that you can scan on one of our banners and look at the series. It's quite. I've already marked my calendar for several of those games. I'm really looking forward to playing. Bomb Pots tournament, Deuce 7 single draw. There's a Torse. There's just a number of mixed games that I play for fun, and then of course we're gonna have. I want to say 3 live streams, maybe 4, counting the Deuce to 7 final table, that will be streaming for you as well. So look for us for the live streams, culminating with the big one that last day.
Yeah, I will be looking for revenge in the Summer Series after finishing 23rd in the warm-up. Hopefully it was just a warm-up. I can turn that 23rd into maybe a trophy.
Love to see one of our commentators on the final table. You're supposed to do that. You and Sam are supposed to do that big table at the end. I'd love to be able to have to sub for one of y'all because you're both in that final table.
Manny all in, king queen suited.
Yeah, just shoving it.
Got a little splash of
He's gonna have picked a pretty good time to do it unless Rick just wants to.
Well, Rick is hating life at the same time. He's like, I am never calling here. I'm gonna let Manny twist a little
I
bit.
take offense when a vegan asks
The big
me why I
jam
put
is
splash of
almost
water.
never a big pair though. He might be thinking, do I just want to do a 3K flip with Manny? I would imagine that's going through his head.
So big.
Cheers, buddy.
Have you moved past
It's hard to imagine that Manny's got any pair at all.
You've moved past that, right?
They got good poker over there.
I pulled away a little bit.
Take your
but
profit
we're
margin
definitely
and hold those
still
threes.
Potentially moving to California.
Yeah.
I think he's really legitimately thinking about making this call.
I do too now.
It probably puts Manny on a hand like ace queen or ace king. Typically these big overbet jams.
Me and Manny have had a few hands tonight, and he may be thinking about that too.
What do
He
you
looks like he's waiting for a bus.
What do you do?
He's just trying to flee from
Wearing
that
his
bad
highway
play
patrol
poker.
sunglasses.
You do what?
I do contract work for a
These are my 2 interviews for early tonight.
Yeah.
So, we had a little conversation before the game and interviewed both of
I don't know,
them.
even my wife's Democrat.
They've had the most heads-up battles on the table, I believe, and he'll let it go
Yeah.
Well,
begrudgingly.
Some people can learn the hard way. Let me learn the
There
hard
he
way.
is. There he
Manny
is.
does a good job of. He's gonna let him look at one. I think he does show him the looks like King of Hearts. You
That's
know.
right, and guys, it is bomb pot time. Bomb pot time. Bomb pot and
What part of California?
This 100 was part of yours. Right? I don't know how it moved over here.
Well, we are on to hand number 47. Dan, again, I always brag about the dealers, but a lot of people don't realize on a live stream, especially a live stream where you've got a lot of action like this. It's not tremendously large pots. It's a tough 2 hours. It's 2 hours in the box with somebody talking in your ear, dealing with the bomb pots every half hour.
It's pretty. It was fun. The weather was great.
It's a busy time. You don't get as many hands in.
I was out there.
So that's why we want to see good tipping from our cash players.
It was good, but
Because these dealers are working hard
It was fun. It was fun. It was a fun.
for a long time.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to live there. I don't
It was like $1 million for a decent home. Yeah, it was like $1 million for a home that's here like 300 grand. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, where are you going to live?
Ronnie.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's probably like
Josh, you were rooting for a call there. Yeah, it would certainly been entertaining.
We need to make sure we have enough money to do it before we do something.
We're going to buy
And a
something?
bomb pot rolling out.
Yeah, like,
Shoot, I can't afford a house in LA.
well, it wouldn't be very nice.
Two pair for Manny on the top board. But it's got rainbow, though. Never punted a bomb pot to just be drawing to straights.
300,000 down or something.
Looks like a set of 8s for Bones.
I'm serious.
Top set on this particular
Down. That's what you heard
round.
correctly.
He had the bottom set earlier.
What is up?
What do you mean? What's
Look around.
You're like
300K down.
Yeah. 300K down.
Those 2 strong hearts that he wears.
We would only get like,
FHA loan, 3.5%
Rainbow
down.
board on the top. A King 10 is obviously the nut for Bones. Bones has got a bunch of this. He's got essentially nut right now, which is a scary place to be in a bomb
What
pot.
house can you get for $600,000 or $700,000 in LA?
Rarely holds up.
There's
well,
no such
it's
thing
not
as
LA. It's like,
Yeah, I don't see any hearts.
family lives in Washington.
like
The 2 pair by Manny gets a call.
No, not that far.
8s are still good. Now 5-6 comes into play, but nobody has it.
no.
And of course, as is typical when you have the Broadway, one of your cards shows up.
Like, imagine like San Diego.
So now the Queen 10 is in as well. Evan has got Broadway as well. So it's a chop on top right now.
It's more country.
There are no spades to draw through.
Yeah, that's
Land's cheaper, but you're far from the city. So we'd be
So
close to
bet,
families.
bet at 400 is going to get a call.
It's a good weather.
Evan with his Broadway. I always hate having Broadway.
yeah, that's a pass. Just stay
Top pots is just a great way to get 6 or
You don't
quarter.
need to go there. You're at the poker mecca.
Manny does give it up.
Got through that whole home rigmarole. Finally settled.
You did get a home, yeah.
Yeah, and you had to kind of uphill battle to
Pretty
get it.
much blanks. I mean, there's lots of straight possibilities. No
Well, I
flushes
mean,
on the bottom.
builder, there was just some stuff with him. And
Oh,
it just
yeah,
took
yeah.
a long time.
Yeah, there was a issue with approval because they wouldn't count one of our incomes.
Oh well, yeah, I didn't.
Jones is
I
going to get
remember
half
that
of whatever
there was, like,
is called
stuff
here.
they
So
weren't finishing. I have vague memory, but like the concept.
Evan's going to
the
call,
builder
but
was
he's not going to
kinda
like it.
difficult a little bit.
Everything
good
that we asked
reason.
for, they ended up fixing, but it did like kind of keep pushing things
Yeah,
out.
it pushed things up. Yeah, they.
does
Like, we
bring
got
a
delayed
beautiful
3 months
scoop
on
in here if Evan doesn't stick around.
my income, and they
The poker angle.
yeah, even though like I reported it, like they, yeah.
This is in a 1-2 game. This is just a snap, but this is a smarter player realizing that he's probably going to lose half of what he calls
I
with,
see.
and he does.
King 10.
So that's a pretty good win for Bones. 1206 to
I see a set.
Bones on that hand,
Eight
who's
on
had a
the
great
bottom. I
night
see a
tonight.
set of fours. It's gonna be
It continues
a
to run well.
situation.
Good decisions and good boards for a good night. So Bones going to take 3
Oh
quarters.
yeah, it was only 1,300 in a call. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Imagine flopping that nut on a
The bet was 13.
Also, what it
Outside,
we've been bragging on Bones a lot tonight. Did you see how he handled the dealer right there? Dealer made a slight mistake. Just needed an adjustment. Very patiently, Bones just touched him on the arm, showed him his bet.
Crying about me winning pots.
over
It's
here.
the way to do it with a dealer.
Delivering those.
Don't condescend. Don't be short-tempered. You just want a hand. Be patient. Just correct them. Watch what they do. Not the easiest thing in the world.
Bomb pop button is right for the next one. Button is right.
Wow, Bones over 8K now. Not a bad stack.
Yep. It's on a podcast. Crying about me.
We'll be fine.
He's doubled his stack.
Once or twice a week. Get on there and you guys cry about me.
Ronnie quietly second in profit. Just James right there.
Well, you know, one way.
Just
you
James
can
also
take out
doubling,
40 stacks.
essentially doubling
Gone in.
his stack.
Correct.
Or don't report your.
Rick having a good night. Consistently. Optimized made a pretty good comeback. He was down, what, 13, 1500?
even if you make like
Can't remember.
if you make like
May have been Manny that was down that much.
as a
Josh just now getting caught up in chat to Bones's amazing call.
Live.
Good luck with 120K in California.
Yeah, that was
Indeed.
kind of my. That's there are hands that are just like whoa.
Enjoy one bedroom
It's
apartment.
that, and we're like wow. And then there are hands where you just love it because it's so
You can buy a home here for
rich in
300K. You don't have to
poker.
put it down.
Decision making process. Yeah, that's my hand of the night. Hand, what do we have here? It was hand 42.
Yeah, seeing aces versus kings, of course, is always fun and
Yeah,
explosive, but
Paid off your
a
house.
hand like that is actually,
You
to
can actually
me,
start-
more interesting to
You can now
watch.
start accumulating some wealth. And then you want to move to like a super high tax state.
Evan 3-betting ace queen off. He's got the
Everybody's
button
moving
as
out
well.
of California.
Rick with a pretty 10-jack suited of spades to make a call.
You know what? At one point during COVID, you could have got a free U-Haul to move that
To a flop.
because they were wanting people
Ace
to
king
take
8,
them back so
top
bad.
pair for Evan, and gut shot backdoor spades for Rick.
I'm sure they're deeply discounted still, though, so you're probably in
I'm
luck.
gonna check it over to Evan, and Evan
Oh my god. I don't know.
Just gonna
Emily
put out-
really likes it here. She really likes
about a 1/3 pot bet.
This is you? This whole thing going to California is you?
Kinda, yeah, even though her family.
This is small enough
Nobody will
to
look
get
at
Rick
him
to
weird over
win.
there when he says he's a vegetarian.
Like
You want the beach or?
I want the mountains. I was in much better shape before I moved here because I was hiking all the time, rock climbing.
You can hike here, dude.
Brother.
They got gyms around here, bro. They got,
Yeah. It's like
Does
you
make
said,
the
they
call.
have gyms.
Like, look,
Go out to Greenbelt.
I can bring a
Spade or
guest
a
to Crunch
queen,
Fitness.
no
every day.
such
Come
luck
on down with
with
me.
clubs.
Yeah, he needs a queen or a 9
Go
now.
to Mount Bonnell or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is like working out at the gym is kind of like eating meat. You got to be out in the wild, right? With the vegetation.
Really?
But as you can see, with all the card removal, he's really not drawing very thick. Did I just really say that? He's not drawing thick. He's drawing thin. I guess that makes
Some of the
sense.
best we have to offer. That's incredible.
Sometimes I don't know what I'm saying, but it
Yeah,
still makes
we will.
sense.
We all understood, Uncle T.
Yeah.
I mean, you hear that? I mean,
Yeah, you can tell that's my daughter. I have no idea what you just said,
literally
but I
gotta
know what
move
you
him to
meant.
California so he can do that. He said, if I get over there,
If Evan has priced Rick out of calling with his
That's
double
the problem.
gutter,
No mountains around here.
Yep.
certainly would have been calling if that 7 was a spade, but this is a little bit tougher spot.
I was just about to say before
Yeah,
that,
nobody
spade
likes an
comes
Austin.
here.
It's too humid.
It's horrible.
Never even heard of a bike. Someone who rode a bicycle in Austin.
Yep.
No, it doesn't happen.
Name 1 or 2 cyclists.
Let's go.
I bet you they won't be from Austin.
Nice putt for Evan.
Oh my God! How did you figure that one out?
Dallas. He actually is.
He lives in Austin.
Well, since he's been proclaimed the best young rising star poker player,
Rattle is on. I hear you.
yeah, Evan is now back to basically even.
He hasn't had a lot of hands to play. He hasn't had any mistakes. Just
Yeah, if I recall, it's a lot of hands to remember, so help me in the chat if you do, but I believe he was in a few pretty awkward spots early,
yeah.
and even had some good starting hands that just kind of miss, so easy to get in an early hole if that happens.
By the way, Josh, are those your pups? Is that a child reference or are those dogs? Just saying.
I have.
Michael used to call his kids the pups. Kind of an East Texas.
First bullets, bones.
Here. Have we seen those?
I think this is the first bullets, and they go to the man having a killer night. He will raise it up, 175.
Unless it's your son's bike, you're
If
not.
I'm having a killer night and I get aces, I get nervous. How are these going to kill me?
And the collector picking the wrong time to 4-bet.
This is probably going to go over the flop either.
I'll take a camera of me biking.
They're going to get calls, so it's going to be heads up and bounces right back over the top of it.
You like finally go for a workout.
Really just bad timing for the collector, because we know Bones has been 3-betting pretty light at times,
Do you have
but
any more blocks?
this is the most you can be stepping in it.
Things you don't want to hear from your semi-bluff bet pre-flop is how much you got behind?
He rips it, and
No, thank you.
collector will say, just kidding.
enough to get like a $700,000 house, maybe rather just have $700,000 house. Live on the
Another nice win for Bones.
Yeah, Pete's on Bones tonight.
Like maybe if we get $700,000 house in California, maybe we'd be better off moving to the west side of Austin. You know? Yeah. $700,000 house over here.
Yeah, dude.
Get them up to 4,600 in profit. Triple the next
Where do you live at,
closest
Optima?
in Bronny and just James.
Rich folks.
Well, it's not in Steiner.
Rick also in the win column.
Actually, I have you at 1,100.
It's not on the water.
How long does it take to
Optimizing
get here
Evan
from Lake
hovering
Point?
around even
Normally
and
it's like 25 minutes.
Electric JY and
Today,
Manny
there was
Fresh
some kind of crash
stuff
at
a bit.
4 points. It took me 45
Stuck in
minutes.
the
But it's normally like
almost 2 hours to go.
it's not bad.
See, I need to move to your neighborhood. That would make Austin solid.
You'll be 5 here.
Hand 50 upcoming. You usually get
Lake Point's
around
kind of like a mini
90
California.
200 hands per stream.
Yeah, he just told you live in mini California. That's what he just said.
All the Californians moved
Plenty of
there.
time to hop in the chat and talk to Uncle TRI. I'm Kyle Frisbee. Of course, we are in Austin, Texas at TCH Social. In rainy Austin, Texas. Which we don't mind in July.
No, keep us from having fires in August.
Optimize is going to raise up Queen 10 suited
Shit, I've been wanting to play one with you all night.
over the top of
Said
a
I've been wanting
limp.
to play one with you all night.
All right, Daddy, here we go.
Couple limps.
Call.
Roddy and Optimize
I don't want to scare you out of it.
starting a grudge match here. Roddy's saying he's been wanting to play with Optimize all night.
I was kind of hoping it'd be a heads up one, but
Yeah, getting a great price to set mine
he'll
here.
probably end up winning the pot.
You got position on me, but he's got position on you, you know.
He'll probably end up winning the pot.
Optimize and Bronny could get tangled up with some straight draws here, but instead it's going to be 5-5-10. And that is going to be top pair for Optimize. It's going to bet small.
If I was in California, I would call that. But not the way these Texas players play.
Bronny will fold and JY
I heard California poker stuff.
has seen Optimize make some moves tonight, so it's not ready to be a believer just yet.
Heads up.
Looking for a 4. Instead it's 6 of diamonds. Optimize still way ahead.
You never played in Cali?
He will slow down a bit, probably concerned that he got called by a 5.
Like a 5-5 game would be capped to like 800. They're very capped, structured wise, yeah.
See if JY wants to turn his hand into a bluff.
1-2 game and it's uncapped. Like everything matched stack. They don't
Of course,
care. Like,
potentially still thinks 4s may be good.
I played it in Morongo, if you're in Morongo.
Goes a little less than half pot.
Like through the main highway of California, Texas. Morongo, it's like
What state is it in?
Optimize thinking, well, I've seen you bluff against Bones once, so I'm going to stick with it.
Yeah, Optimize also picked up a flush draw, so certainly never folding.
Morongo.
King of Hearts, nobody's going to love.
Same thing, there's a casino called Lake Elsinore.
I think both players are going to just be pretty happy with their showdown value.
Cap games, nothing that big. Biggest game is 1,000 cap.
Personally, I think between Texas and Florida is the best place to play. When I want to play
Yep,
outside,
check,
I
check.
go to Florida because it's nice for vacation. The beaches are nice. The action is great.
Prediction of the night by yours truly. Check.
Yeah.
Check, check.
And then it's just, there's so much.
I don't know. I thought my 5 was
Beautiful.
left.
So, yeah, you can't go wrong in Florida.
I'm going to break my arm patting myself on the back for that easy prediction.
I would go to Florida before Cali just because it's so much cheaper and the beaches are way nicer.
You calling a 1-outer was significantly better than predicting check.
You ever been to Florida? Well, have you, anybody that's been?
Blood squirrel. I mean, I do that
So,
so
I mean, any of
much.
us,
Commentating.
yeah, I know it's kind of weird to live there. Hey, Optimize, you've been to Florida and Cali, right?
We
I
do a little bit of a
was
dealer
telling them the Florida
change.
beaches are way better than California.
Jesse comes
You can't
in.
even compare them.
Tag teams
Yeah, I went to
fan.
Seaside
Did a
earlier
great
this
job
year.
tonight.
It's nice.
No, like
Highly doubt.
the only cool thing about California.
Way North Drones saying
Water's warmer. The water's
maybe an
the water's
issue
blue.
with, I guess,
No, that's fine.
commentary.
We're
Let
about
us know
beaches.
if
Yeah,
you
I'm
can
talking
hear
about
Uncle
beaches.
T and I.
Oh, California is beautiful, but I mean, like,
In
the
the
water's
chat.
cold. It's not comfortable to swim any time of
You
year.
couldn't hear us.
And it's not.
Wow,
yeah,
what a
and
waste
it's
of
not,
great
It's
commentary.
not like
Yeah,
the water's
we-
not blue like Florida.
We were killing
Florida's
it.
a lot
for the
bluer.
last 5 minutes.
Basically,
yeah,
it's
like
us
they're
and
just-
Bones just killing it tonight.
Yes, it is.
It is.
You never been there?
That's in the Everglades.
Well, no, like that's the middle.
It's a
yeah.
dump, but the beaches are nice.
Yeah, we're the Three Stooges
So if you like-
tonight.
if you like
Mo,
mountains so much,
Larry,
why
and
not Colorado?
Bones is Curly.
My wife doesn't want to move to Colorado.
Colorado's too straight.
Because I have my best friend's in Colorado.
Yeah.
But she doesn't
I have a
like the
feeling
cold.
Bones wouldn't want to be included in that
I would
trio.
love to like
Well,
I consider moving.
You know, it's
Dude,
not
I think you're a
bad.
Utah kind of guy.
Bezos.
You're a Utah kind of guy.
I mean,
Yeah.
my wife
suppose.
doesn't like Mormons.
Have you considered Mormonism? I mean,
I have an uncle that was Mormon. He was at the wedding. Uncle Gary, he was
thanks,
Mormon
Way
for
North,
75 years.
for the feedback. I think I may have just needed to move my mic a bit, so appreciate you calling that out. Optimize back to the green for the first time since that massive cooler versus Bones.
Yeah.
Straight flush versus nut flush.
Too cold in Colorado. My wife doesn't like Utah because of the Mormons. Honestly, Phoenix might not be bad.
Phoenix is nice. The north side, yeah, the north side's real nice.
I've just driven through. I haven't really.
What about Austin?
You know, Austin doesn't have mountains. You know? Maybe El Paso. What about El Paso? There's like a little mountain there.
Better Weston.
yeah, El Paso's pretty.
Have you
Pretty
ever been to
dry.
El Paso?
Yeah, I've been to El Paso multiple times.
You want to move there?
No.
El Paso, that's a horrible place to live in.
It's so horrible. It's kind of
Like what? No, it's you want to talk about trashy?
yeah. I mean, I used to live in Albuquerque, so it's
Yeah.
better in Albuquerque.
You think Florida's
When a guy-
trashy, but you want to move to El Paso? That's, yeah.
When a guy says he's moving to California, we're all kind of like, oh, nah, man, stay here. The guy says he's moving to El Paso, you're kind of just quiet. You just kind of feel bad for him.
Yeah.
You just don't
I don't know
say
what's
anything.
going on in his life right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, that really sucks.
That's
dude.
like
I'm
halfway
sorry.
between here and California. So.
I mean, if you
Yeah.
know someone a big number, El Paso's probably the place to go to disappear.
You know,
Yeah.
I lived in Albuquerque for a long time, so El Paso seems kind of nice compared to Albuquerque.
Well, I'd put him pretty much on par.
Trip 7's on the turn for Manny. Takes a commanding lead here.
I believe that.
JY.
And you're not
I
family
bet they're not
everywhere.
vegetarian.
Got to let it know.
You're all in. Yeah, what is all this?
They don't
You're
even have
moving closer to
vegetables there.
family. Anywhere you move's closer to family.
You know, I'm 7th generation royalty. Did you know that?
Royalty?
Yeah. I come from a descendant of French people. French conquistadors, you know, whatever they
Oh,
are.
so you're
Spanish, but you know.
you're related to Brigitte Macron, man.
Related to what?
Macron, Emmanuel Macron,
No.
leader of France.
No, there's a guy named Fayard I'm related to. He had like a whole
What's his
bunch
name?
of kids. Fayard. Fayard. He's like my great grandfather.
Too many grades.
Yeah, too many grades.
You're
It was
back in the
like-
11th century. What are you doing?
I'm like,
Walk,
it's just us? No way,
Walk.
no way.
walk. We're not, you know we're not playing the mid.
I know.
If you bet, I'm probably gonna fold.
Tiny pot,
Are
couple
you?
of tens.
Interesting
Both
background.
players with
Well,
8
until my
high.
10 got there, now I feel like I gotta
Another
do something.
10.
I wouldn't have put that
Aw.
fucking background
I
on.
feel like my
you.
pair might be good.
100,000 years. Have you been on a little spiritual journey or something?
Nobody's showing
Eight
much
high.
interest. In fact, we'll have a chop.
You're good.
He'll chop up that
You
$25.
raised 20, asshole.
Or no, excuse me, just James.
Just for you guys.
Actually makes us straight. Any
Hoping
pair
I
was a
bluff
full
out,
house.
take bluff, 'cause You like the board?
Graphics had to
Picture
update.
yourself smile. No, it's just like some poker chips. You know?
Diablo 14 says Bones leading. Indeed he is.
Sorry, I'm like in 3 spots here in my
I mean,
mind.
come on.
Has a chance to get to a 5-figure stack tonight. If he can close strong in the last hour and a
I'm
half.
gonna pick something that means something to me, and what you chose was the Virgin Mary.
Give us a like, subscribe to the channel.
Bones, he
Would be
got
greatly
religion.
appreciated by Uncle T and I. I'm Kyle Frisbee.
True
KW
religion.
Frisbee on Instagram. I do poker content, so give me a follow there.
I'm so confused. That's a raise. Okay, whatever.
Frisbee is IE at the end.
Casual Friday at my girl.
Got a raise from Manny and 3-bet from Optimize with Queen 9 suited. Barney will let go of the queen jack, and Manny makes the call.
Oh, right. Where were you today?
Deuce 4-7, couple of hearts.
You know what I don't like though? Homeless.
Nobody really connecting.
They're rampant sometimes.
I don't think you want to do that.
C-bet from Optimize, and
I'm gonna talk myself out of it.
Yeah.
Manny will bow out.
Go to San Diego.
Yeah, if we got the money, like that's my city, San Diego. It's like
That's where
that
you
is my
move.
people. Psychedelics, man. Like, yeah, it's my
The
people.
best part of
Jesse
San
now
Diego
in the
is
box
Tijuana.
replacing
They
Dan.
have a big
He
psychedelic
is
scene in
Oh yeah.
been a dealer at TCH as long as I have played here, which is several years now. So
It's chill.
always great at controlling the game. One of the fastest dealers as well.
$2 million to have a shack there for you, so.
How's the?
You keep playing poker this well, you'll have it in no time.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, scan my cards.
Raise.
There's some wicked.
Just
deals
James
in,
raising ace
South
queen on the button. Gets a 3-bet from Bronny with king jack suited. Call from Just James to a 7 high flop. Rainbow. Check, check, and Bronny make top pair on the turn. He's going to check it over to Just James and
Oh, yeah, you're there.
check back by Just James. River is a 4, brings in
Take it off.
4-liner to a 5, would make a straight. Barney decides to go ahead and bet his top pair, and he's going to get a raise from Just James to 300. And wow, quick fold from Bronny. Nice move by Just James. Take that down with just ace high and shows Bronny.
Good bluff. Good bluff. Bad board. Bad board.
Some well-timed aggression by James
I
in
was
the
actually
2 seat.
valued at 75, but that was a bad run out.
Bad run.
It was, I mean, you were ahead until then.
Yeah.
It was just, yeah.
Bad river card.
I should have checked.
Easy to forget that Just James is the second biggest winner tonight. His Bones is
Good bet.
dominating the leaderboard, up 4,600.
If you told me right now, I got to bet my life on whether you have a stack of poker chips
Might have still come.
or a mule.
But I wasn't calling. Like, this was a different,
What do you
different scenario.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of stuff you could have had there. Any 2 pair. Straight loaded. Just good bluff.
You know, if you were Hispanic,
You were ahead from the
the
get-go.
Virgin
I was
Mary.
only ahead of one.
Manny and the collector will see a flop. Queen high. Check, check. 7 on the turn. Manny's still good with ace high. We'll pair his 6 on the river.
Oh, we both tried to turn.
Yeah, we both check the turn. Because like that's why I hesitate so much.
He'll take that one down.
I have that on my back right now. It's the same thing.
I called the river. No bad fold.
I could usually have a 5 or 2 pair.
Absolutely.
Easily.
It's like faded out.
I'm checking anything that makes 2 pair on the river down. 6-4, 7-4. I'm checking anything with a 5.
Yeah.
Down. Oh.
Outside of the king, yeah.
Dang.
No,
That's how
yeah.
Manny was. Yeah. King of spades. Yeah. It's okay, you're gonna get an ace instead.
These 4 cards don't matter. Those 6 cards
Oh,
out
that's
there.
right there. I forgot the fuel.
I don't understand. I don't understand those massive tattoos. Once you go that balls deep, I don't
Yes, is it because you're on camera?
Onto a bomb pot. Jesse will put out 2 boards. Double board PLO. 3 9s in JY's hand. Not something you want to see in a bomb pot. Trips in your hand. Quickly checks around. Bronny does have the full house. Jacks full of 6s. That will be the nuts on the bottom board.
I'm gonna give Rick 1. Work 4. 0, 0, definitely 0, 0.
2 pair on the top for just James.
What's that?
We're gonna go with 5.
We're going cumulative tattoos at the table right now. Don't say anything.
Manny will call with
Cumulative
the
tattoos.
bottom boat.
What's your guess?
5's full of jacks, so
I haven't worked my answer out yet.
drawing very thin on that bottom board.
Can I? What is that?
KY, JY.
Sorry. I was selecting.
What's the bet? Give me. You have to pick a number. No, you have to pick a number.
Bronny can pick up a king on this top river.
Just whoever's closest.
You would have a likely scoop.
You're not going above or over my line. No way.
I'm gonna say 3.
No such luck. Diamonds come in. Nobody with diamonds.
You got it.
How many tattoos do you have?
So Evan and Bronny will be chopping this one up. Jack 6.
Ronnie, how many tattoos do you have?
Jack
Manny can get away.
full.
Rick, how many?
Did check. Haven't checked.
It's already over.
It's definitely over.
Evan, you have any tattoos? No. Manny.
9 hundo, Manny. Let me get one bluff through.
Really?
And Bronny's going to try to stop here. Bet full pot. Manny, in fact,
Oh, God. How many do you have, Bones?
would chop the pot.
One tattoo at the table. Am I the only one with a tattoo here?
Unless
Wow.
Manny has.
Yeah, a pair of 10s would be his lifeline if he makes his call.
Yeah, it's a really good bet by Bronny. He's just put the pressure on. He's
What
not
do you
afraid
guys
of much
call
on
him
that
to
bottom
turn
board.
and then thinking on the river with?
You always bet.
Both teams.
Always bet
2 boards.
strongly.
You gotta have one
when
of
you've
them.
got that position.
You gotta have one board.
Yes, actually, Manny has. But
Wow, he
oh,
makes the call.
He's going to be really surprised.
He is going to be
Should've
very
folded.
shocked at how he gets half the spot.
Man, he's still looking at his
10 holds up.
cards. Yep,
2 pair, no? Straight.
Wow.
Manny, how many tattoos do you have? 10?
Very fortunate for Manny to have that
Very
dangler pair of 10s on the top.
It's kind of a bullshit bet, but I was so far off, you deserve to win.
I was taking the start before.
Can you give me one pair,
know,
Justin?
there's
Just one pair.
probably no other game I've ever seen where a bad call turns
Good call,
out
buddy.
better than in bomb pots. I mean, obviously, he's 2 boards. So
And I was in a perfect spot because I had the jack, so it looks like
how
a
many
straight on the
times
other board
have we
too.
just
Yeah.
been done by one board, and then you hear a couple of people say, "Oh my gosh, I was good." You know, give Evan credit; he didn't say that. Is a
Tough call.
Yeah, I have certainly done exactly what Manny just did.
I
And
was really
got
trying to
very,
talk you
very
out of
fortunate to
calling.
be bailed out in a massive bomb pot by a single
Well, I
pair
knew-
on the
because I
board
knew
I
only had
wasn't
one.
really playing. Always feel very lucky and like a doofus at the same time.
Well, that's where I always go kind of big and say, "Well, I knew my 10s were good on top." I mean, obviously.
You just play right into it. I soul read that I had
Slightly worried
that
about
one
you having
pair
a
was
couple,
good.
but other than
Well,
that,
what I always say is my favorite thing that people say at a 1-2 table. It tells me a lot about them. Well, I knew.
butterfly in his ankle.
Blah blah blah. Whatever it is. Well, I knew. So I always kind of making fun of the people. Say, "Well, I knew
Yeah.
you had jacks there." Oh, did you? Did you? Really?
But I called anyway, so you just wanted to light $100 on fire? Or what?
It's like Dave Chappelle says, you get
The other one I
face on
like
there,
is
you get
when
self-portrait, and then you let the hair
The
grow out on
they say, well, I put you on ace king,
Hell yeah,
and it's
bro.
impossible to put somebody on a specific hand like that. It would be a range. You might say, well, ace king I thought was in your range, but to say I knew you exactly ace king.
Folks, if you play low stakes poker and you want to sound as JY crushes
This may be the most top sets we've ever had in a stream. We've had top set. This is for sure 3, maybe the 4th time.
Yeah, we've had plenty of sets. I haven't really thought about the top sets, but you're right. The kings have hit, the jacks have hit.
Yeah, well, and it's gotten more so and
Now the
more so
queens.
and more so and more so. Every
Robbie's
decade,
probably going to
it's
come
a
along
very
with his
notable
bottom pair, and
difference.
he's also got the
It's to the
gut
point
shot.
now where pretty much
to the
anyone
nuts.
can pick anywhere in the entire city, west,
He
east,
does leave,
anywhere.
I guess. So,
There's more than a
but Rick comes
And
along.
Rick just calling with
Not the person I thought
ace
was-
high.
Now and he would have gotten there.
A 10 would be absolutely disgusting, as they would chop with the same straight.
Yeah, Jack 8 is really, really fortunate right now for holding that hand because this is a moist board.
50%.
Yeah, and really a terrible turn card for JY. He's,
Yeah, 16 to 60. I'd take 50.
He's gonna call, but he ain't gonna like it much.
yeah, he has to call to, even if he thinks he's behind, he's got to try to boat up. But
I like this bet by Rick. I mean, it kind of takes the wind out of whatever JY was feeling.
the only
Typical
worst
set.
card. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, typical set. You know, the board gets super moist on you when you flop top set every time.
Yeah, really the only worst turn card would have been the Jack of Hearts. That's
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, that's true.
Sure thing. It's gonna play super slow with him. Hey, he's
JY, a very deliberate player, will think this through. And every second he takes, Rick feels better about a river bet.
Oh, he's going to go ahead and raise and figure it out now. I like this play.
He just doesn't believe he has it still. I do too. There's a lot of good decision making on his part. He ran through the possibilities. He said he doesn't have a 10. Now, if we get to the end of the hand and he says, I knew you didn't have a 10, then I'm going to discredit everything just because of what we just talked about.
And I think Rick's going to save a little face and get away. Lays it down.
Nice.
Nice hand for JY. Gets him
Really
to...
would have put my money on just a smooth there.
Yeah, the nightmare of that raise is you make the raise and then Rick comes back over the top, and now you've made it really expensive to try to see a river to make your full house.
Yeah, you're going to assume you're all in.
That's the worst outcome, but as played, I'm sure he's not upset to get the fold there. Rick with a couple of 8s. We'll raise it up from the cutoff. And get quickly through that by Evan with King Queen. And here's Manny with a real hand. He's got Ace King.
4-bet incoming.
Yeah, Manny trying to get out of the hole, and Ace King is a good hand to do it with.
Solid 5.
Back to Rick, and Rick, as we know, previously considered calling an all-in from Manny with pocket 3s in a similar configuration. So,
Did he?
or at least he lets it go easily this time, and has Evan behind him in this case as well. So Manny will pick up a small one.
Manny's still down 3.8. Been a rough night after crushing it the last time. You see the V-pip here. This will come into play next week for the Double Poppy's V-pip Survivor.
Yeah, I can still
That has quickly developed into, I think, a fan favorite, certainly a booth favorite. It's a lot of fun to call.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I know. I mean, I've done backpacking.
That's a 3-ring circus.
Yeah.
Love it. If you want to be a part, once again, if you want to be a part of our live stream, just had a couple of players grab me and say, hey, I want to play in the live stream. So I get their contact information. Contact Pickle T. And if you don't have my contact information, contact Kristen or just call up here and say, hey, my local team, Kristen, I want to be in the next live stream. Or we will say that the next 2 games are full. I don't want to discourage people from lining themselves up because remember VPIP Survivor, we kick somebody off the island every hour. And so we'll need substitutes.
3-bet from JY, King Jack of Hearts. Evan also with Hearts. And there is 2 pair for, oh, excuse me, 1 pair, top pair for JY, as well as Rick.
I have
Nobody with the diamond, monotone flop.
Mass Kevin and me, and they basically just trolled me on it. So they just sent a screenshot of when you and Bones.
What does JY want to do? Has the best hand. He will bet small.
It's called like the outer rim or something.
Rick also with top pair.
Hey, I'll go kick his ass.
Makes the call.
10 to like 13 miles.
He plays PLO now. Turns out nobody wants to play with him and hold him, so he just said it.
More diamond.
Another diamond, and this is going to put the brakes on this hand.
I mean, this is gonna
Unless, Rick's going to try to buy it.
I was like, Doug, like, it's a private game. I want you to respect that.
And that tiny bet just looks so much like you're trying to get a little more value squeezed out of the ace of diamonds. See if JY can snip this out.
Well, he surprised me with the bet last time. If he doesn't believe, come over the top and work.
Yeah, the other factor here, if he makes this call, he's out of position again on the river.
Where I live,
So Rick
I should drive out there, find some
taking down some pots tonight with the worst of it, and that is why he is 4th in profit, up just over $700. In a game this big, that seems like nothing, but $700 is $700.
All that private game.
I agree.
He wouldn't come play.
That's really my first.
A win is a win, right? It doesn't matter if it's 6-3 or 35-10. Still a win.
No one ever went broke taking a small profit.
No. Words to live by. I'm going to get that tattooed.
Yeah.
I won't tell you where,
It was a crappy
though.
day where I canceled being on stream because I thought I was going to have a conflict, and then
I shudder to ask.
not happening. And the thing, and so I ended up just being, well, I'll just go
Several
play there.
moderate strength playable hands here. Rick limps with ace-5 suited. Evan's going to raise it up with king-queen suited. Manny in there with the jack-9
A lot
suited.
of crazy moves going on up there.
That was a mistake.
With all that variability, Optimize has actually got the most equity.
Yeah, everybody with a
I
little
take it
something
back.
here getting priced in.
27.
Rated G.
Couple of hearts, so nut flush draw for Rick. Top pair for Evan.
Better for KY.
Actually, Evan and JY flopping the same top pair.
Yep. KY and Evan.
Open ender for Manny.
Hearts are in play for Ronnie and Rick. Well, it's a little bit for everybody. Everybody except for Optimize.
Yeah, if we could get a diamond on the turn, everybody would have something to be excited about.
Yep.
Optimize will not stick around for that, though. Understandable.
Ronnie really kind of in the worst position here. If the hard hits, it's going to be a little bit ugly.
No, tonight I'm playing Texas Card House live stream, so I'm up playing poker.
There's a house like right in the middle of the whole mountain. It's gorgeous.
Right by the casino.
Evan makes,
Yeah, it
excuse
looked
me,
really
Rick
nice.
makes the call.
Did y'all buy all that stuff?
We've got a big one brewing with 5 players and a big hand. Jesse's throwing smoke, and there is the
Oh,
straight.
wow. Well,
I take it back. That is not a straight.
They probably really
Look at
spent some
Jack
money.
nine.
Yeah,
No,
just-
no,
You're gonna
it's
have
not
to thank
straight.
them.
I thought that made somebody
Those are
whole.
really expensive and nice.
Just makes a couple of open enders now.
That's not the worst
Wow.
card for action. Everybody's
That's
going to be a little
awesome.
afraid of the.
Congrats.
the
Yeah,
straight
you're a
now.
full-blown Texan now. That's all the gear.
Yeah, as played, nobody really should have ace-king here, but obviously there's some
Oh, I did.
other
I did.
possibilities.
I saw it.
8-9.
Yeah, it looks great.
King
It looks really
nine.
good.
Yeah, we can see the hands obviously, but
Oh, maybe
We're
I didn't
blocking
zoom in
this
that
trade.
much. I was looking at it on
Wow,
my
Rick
watch
bets
because
365 and Evan makes a call.
Thought that aggression might work.
Well, because
Yeah, I did too. I would be
to answer the phone,
pretty
I got up and
nervous
walked away from the
making
table,
a
but I'm
call
not
with
looking at
just
my
top
phone,
pair,
so
king
that's why I
kicker
keep looking at my phone, but-
on this
Yeah,
board, but
I'll look
Evan
at
does
it-
so
I'll look at it on my
correctly,
phone
and
as
Manny,
well.
Who is
Yeah,
open-ended.
big thanks to me.
yeah, pair and open-ended, he'll let it go.
Yeah, too many players with too many
Man, that's
possibilities.
Straight could already be dead as well.
Yeah.
I don't know, baby. I think she's at home with your siblings, but
What does JY want to do?
She might be tucking him in right now.
I think Evan's call is going to really make this tough on JY. You got
Love
a
you. How's
good size bet and a
rehearsals
call
going?
ahead of you. You just got one pair.
Yeah, great point.
Okay.
And it was a fairly quick
You got a lot
call,
of
too.
singing parts.
Yeah,
so
I don't blame him whatsoever for making that fold.
It's your expertise, but a lot
Rick
of memorization.
looking for a heart and makes the nuts on the river.
Yeah. It's going to be awesome, though. Everyone's so excited to see
1655 in the middle.
And Brody's upset because he got his heart.
Awesome.
But trust
Well,
me,
love you,
Brody,
babe.
You're very, very glad.
Yeah, and Evan actually improves to two pair, but can't really love that two pair. Any ace is a straight.
Exactly. Evan's gonna work it out. This is exactly what called me.
Oh, Rick's gonna ask for all of it.
Westminster.
That's gonna make it look a little more bluffy, but yeah, Evan makes a good fold.
Yeah, I like the jam by Rick also because as played, there's a reasonable amount of the time that your opponent's going to have a worse flush. So, going for max value.
You nailed the flush too. I folded a flush draw. What
That'll
a pair.
get Rick
I
up
figured
to
it wasn't going to be good if it comes.
1.8K in profit. Overtaking just James for second place
No,
behind
it's just straight.
Bones Big Stack.
Did you have the ace high flush? No, I only had like a 4 deuce. So I felt good.
Way North says
That was
good
a bad
fold
deal.
with lower
Giving
hearts.
Chase was flushed up.
That would have been disastrous.
It would have been.
Oh gosh, I'm glad I folded.
That is a dodge bullet, and he got to see. So,
Oh yeah, you can see the look on Bronny's face. He's
Ronnie, yeah.
I think his heart rate is up a little bit that he just
like,
dodged that. That is always a little scary, but also a great feeling when you go from very disappointed that you folded to, oh my goodness, I can't believe I just stepped out of the way of that semi.
Yeah. I thought I was roller skating and I was on the railroad tracks.
King Queen again, also with top pair this time. Pair of 10s for JY.
I've been believing in the King Queens in spite of the last hand.
I feel like not a lot of poker players in the houses are making media.
There's some. Yeah.
Evan will make a near pot size bet. Or actually, excuse me, raise. Small bet there by JY.
Yeah, I wanted to go to
What do you like?
I mean, there was a bunch of people at lane 8 that were in that play poker.
Really?
Yeah.
I like that style. Lane 8's like Lane 8's where I like first started.
JY will let it go.
Much more like aggressive. But now I've started shifting into
You know, I know we're adding interviews to the stream.
Like Eric Prince?
I would like to interview JY after this one because he seems to have been in a lot of awkward spots. I would love to know what he was
did you go to
thinking
the
of
Concourse
some
show?
of these.
I did.
When he played Call of
And-
Duty?
Yep.
Yeah.
That was,
I didn't realize how significant it was.
Yeah.
until
Yeah,
after.
I probably the first question I
That's
asked him is
crazy.
what
He
hand
hasn't
did you
played
put
that song in
20
so
years.
long.
Yeah.
That's so
Bones
bizarre.
on? That
He just
you,
doesn't like
you
it, I
know,
think.
yeah.
made that big
I saw
bet
him
as a
in
bluff.
Bogota
And I
last
wouldn't be
year.
surprised if he said exactly what he had.
Yeah, yep, completely agree. I think he was trying to get him to fold exactly what he had.
Yeah, it's cool.
I mean, how many times at the table have I said in my life, yep, that's what I was targeting.
Oh, that's
So
the
good
worst
call.
when they have what you were targeting and just make a call. Certainly have been there.
There's always, which is always a kind of an admiration, sarcasm. When you're like, great, great. The ones you don't like to say is,
He's probably my favorite
all
live
with
show
that.
to see.
Those are the ones I don't like to have to say. JY with my favorite small pair.
Saw him in
Just James 3-betting Jack 9.
It was pretty good.
JY will let the pair of 5s go in bones.
Why? You guaranteed a set there.
chip again? What if I hit? What if?
Maybe.
Bones will make the call.
What if I hit?
To a flop.
Boy, that's
10 Jack Ace,
ugly.
Rainbow.
Really ugly for both.
Can we put a like in the game now?
Either one of them could have an ace in the other player's mind, but James is going to keep the aggressive.
Quick
Well,
fold from Bones. And
Like
nice
we
little
always
pot.
say, you know, it's more the range of the pre-flop
A and a
better.
jack.
Jack 9.
Well, we want to thank all of you once again. This is Uncle T with my partner Whammo, Kyle Frisbee, and TCH Social live stream, Austin, Texas.
I don't know why you didn't.
5-5 uncapped. Appreciate all of you in the chat. Got 200 of you. Should be seeing a lot more chatting going on. Give us something to talk about. We always like to. We haven't had an opportunity to put anybody's funny or insightful
What am I?
comment for everybody to see. We will if you say something pithy. You know what pithy is? Look it up. Or
22.
insightful. We'll put you up.
Lowest over here, 21.
I got a Bones. How are you winning so much with the lowest?
It is one of the powers we have. We can make your comment famous for everyone to see forever on YouTube.
That is
That's what I want to know.
And you guys are.
who knows? Maybe you'll even win some free
Golly,
merchandise.
that's it. I'm gonna.
I do.
I gotta just play like 2 hands to beat him, Jesse. I just gotta play 2 hands to beat him.
Ace King suited for Manny. Man that is stuck the most at the moment. So we'll give him a
I only came
chance
here 'cause I
to
thought Bones
cut
was
into
the
that
worst player.
deficit. And he gets a call from Optimize,
That was the wrong
also with
assessment.
spades. And the collector has just been a little unlucky when he's chosen to 3-bet. The idea has been good versus
I would
the
just touch the
competition
shrink.
of his opponents, I should say. But just unlucky timing.
That's
when you
my
get that spark.
boy, Rick. Play those fives.
And Manny just rips it immediately after Rick calls.
Oh, wow.
And once again, Manny and Rick, same thing. 2 overs for Manny, Rick with a small pair. Collector out of there.
That's the prettiest hand I've seen.
Rick,
Look at Rick.
yeah, Rick may just be getting. You know what? It's the 3rd time. This time I
Guess I
call.
should've- Yeah, I ruined it for everybody. But I really didn't want all of y'all.
First it was the 3s, then it was the 9s, or the 8s, I believe, and then now the 5s. I believe in the 5s, Rick, if it means anything.
Here's what I'm contemplating, man.
And he's going to show the table. He's got a pair of 5s.
Manny gives him a slight nod. You read anything out of that little 1-chip rollover in his hand?
Not really. Do you?
No.
Yeah.
Just picking your brain.
Yeah, it's not.
He's going to show him. Show him. Show him.
The card
He's
shuffle.
letting him pick another card now. And he sees the king of spades.
Good hand, dude.
Manny and Rick having a little tete-a-tete tonight.
Boy, I
know?
tell you what. Yeah, they've been butting heads all
I feel like
night.
I shouldn't say.
Yeah, 5's deep.
Quiet night for Collector in seat 1, and Evan is, also been kind of quiet. Lowest VPEP. Haven't seen too much out of Optimize in the last hour and a half. But as the night's gone on, Bones has been the master of all disaster.
The other one runs out like 2 pair on the board. Just tell yourself that.
What hand did you want to play?
We will look for that, Way North. We will look for that. I'm not going to say it out loud because our players watch the stream but typically don't look through all the comments. We will look for that. And if you are correct on the next time we see that, you draw it to our attention and I will put you in for some free merchandise. I hope you're not too far away. And Way North sounds like you are. Where are you located?
Bronny going to 3-bet King Queen of Hearts. Get a call from Optimize and Just James. 775, and Optimize actually going to outflop everyone. Bronny going to keep telling the story that he has a strong hand? Goes 200 into 480. Optimize makes his call. Just James will lay down the ace-queen. And that's a boat for Optimize.
Wow. Now, just when I said Optimize has been quiet.
Yeah, Bronny's going to shut down and doesn't even beat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bet quick fold. Optimize will take that one.
Now, Bronny said he wanted to play a couple hands with Optimize. He's got his wish, unfortunately, for him.
Well, and we said it way back when after that cooler that you can go worst to first. It's not first, but Optimize did go from worst to $430 in profit, and that's sometimes, you know, one of the best sessions you can have is take a huge cooler, not really your fault, couldn't really have played it different, and you manage to squeak out a small profit. Sometimes that feels better than just,
it does,
you know, winning wire to wire.
Absolutely does. Yeah, I had one the other night. I was like, man, I need to just not play the first hour. I'm logged in because it seems like I get down 400, 500, 600, and then when I drive home with $230 profit in my pocket, I'm like, good job. Means I didn't lose my patience. 1-2, that's pretty typical though, because we play a bomb pot.
Get the hands loaded here momentarily. See who has some equity.
White Horse, Yukon, Canada. Wow, you are way north.
Somehow just James with huge equity in a bomb pot on the flop, which is rare. He's got a set of 8s and a 3. So, he jack 3s. He's got a flop boat and a set. This is a massive flop.
And he
and
loves
it's
that
no
too.
action. Wow.
Yeah, I was just about to say he loves that 3 on the other board.
Yeah, he
would have
even
rather had a jack on the other board, so it reduces the chance he's overvoted. But
yeah, he almost, it's kind of like flopping top set. In some cases, you won't get paid off. He had too much of it. He had the boat on the bottom, and he also somehow had 2 pair with 8s and 3s. And then, I mean, there's just not a whole lot his opponents could have.
And I've said that so many times. I love playing with our daytime bomb pot players because they play the game differently, being bomb pot experts, really. And I'll throw over my hand and they're like, yep, you didn't. They'll always throw it out. Yep, you hit it too well to make any money. You just crushed both boards.
200 comes out of his hips.
That can be very tilting as well when you see all these bloated bomb pots and you're like, it'll be my turn eventually. You finally nail the flop you've been dreaming of and just take down the antes.
Oh, I know. Got position.
That's tough to do right there.
Yeah, you really don't want that at the bomb pot table
Give me
because the bomb pot
$300, I'll let you
players
have
are
this.
astute. You want that at a 1-2 where you just crush both boards. You know,
Very
I
true.
say there's nothing better in poker than you know, a low proficiency level at whatever table I'm at. That's what I'm looking for. And in bomb pots, that's very common in 1-2. Although people are getting smarter. Every day they get a little smarter.
Fair price.
Optimize has been playing the heck out of these suited connector, 1-gapper, 2-gapper type hands. He's got the best hand here with a pair of 5s.
Gut shot for Rick. He could hit a 3. And Rick is, as he's been all night, is taking the initiative.
And as you folks may have noticed, the knit game is back on. See the yellow markers as well as the red dots next to the names on the graphics. And that's going to be trip 5s.
Again, for
Optimize.
First it was the boat, and now it's the trip 5. Let's see if Rick continues his story, which is not going to work.
How long have I had it? 7 years, 6 years?
Looks like he made 115. Yeah, I was just about to say $115 bet.
I try not to over predict on here, but I think Optimize makes this maybe 400.
Yeah, hoping that he's got an ace, a bad ace.
See how close.
Maybe ace 7. Yeah, good prediction. Would you 425?
Optimize had to grab that one green chip
To throw
for
you
no
off?
reason, just to make me not totally right.
Yeah, that's called the Kyle invalidation.
Come on, Blake. The 4 blacks was good enough.
Yeah. So he used the.
He's been trying to catch up with my 5 of club all night, you know, with a really great prediction. It just hasn't happened for him.
Oh, Way North is watching from Alaska.
No, he's
Wow.
actually in Whitehorse, Utah.
Oh, okay.
Next to Alaska.
I was reading your messages backward, drones. Apologies. Either way, very cool.
Way far
Glad
away.
you're hopping on the stream with us tonight.
I know.
Too far for me. Although he could use one of our sweatshirts better than anybody.
That's true. It'd be
We don't sell a lot of them this time of year in Texas.
it'd be the most functionally useful.
And it's really important to remember, Way North, that our, we specifically order our embossed TCH Austin sweatshirts to be anti-mosquito. Did you know that?
I did not know
They are
that.
mosquito repellent.
Is this a Uncle T joke or okay? Y'all cannot see Uncle T's face, but he truly sells his stuff.
I try to get him at least once a night.
Yeah.
The better part is not my face. The better part is your face because you look at me real side eye like, is this some serious BS or am I getting?
You make me think too hard about the weirdest stuff during the stream. It's hard enough to keep up with 9 hands, and you had me in a quarter of a second thinking, could they have randomly chosen cloth that's mosquito repellent somehow by accident? Is this a?
Oh,
Wow.
all that to say, Way North, I wished I could send you a hoodie. We've got some great hoodies. So, and they are not mosquito repellent.
Top pair for JY. Flush draw for Manny, and he will check over to Optimize. Optimize checks back. Queen of clubs on the turn, improving Manny to a gutter with his flush draw. JY still good with a pair of jacks, but Optimize will take the lead here. He's going to try to sell that he has a queen. This has been a common spot for JY. He has the best hand. It's not a great hand, and he gets a bet and a call ahead of him. Just an awkward spot. How often is your pair of jacks with a weak kicker good here? Ton of river cards you wouldn't like, and he's in let it go formation. Nope, rethinks it. He's going to make the call.
It's an effort.
He made a lot of good decisions tonight.
Yeah.
Doesn't really have the profit margin to show for it, but that's going to make it.
And Optimize just gets there on the river, 755 in the middle, and Manny bets into him.
Like he's saying, I had the ace.
Yeah, definitely trying to represent the ace, and I think he'll just get snapped off. Not a lot of reason to raise if you're Optimized.
I hit that ace.
Did Optimize call?
Yeah. Makes the call.
What is going on?
505 profit.
Moses totally showing up. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Optimize, but if he's,
Yeah, I think Bones somewhat sarcastically analyzing that hand. Like, Optimize, what the heck were you doing with A7 off? Getting there on the river.
It's a
Bones
delayed
is not a
C-bet.
jolly
that's all.
joker.
It's a style.
That was
it's
a
a
real
style.
subtle. And I know it's because Bones is analyzing every hand. And he just saw what this was and said, what?
Yeah.
This is not what I expected. Best needle of the night, all with facial expression and grabbing cards. That collector, how many times has he had King Queen suited?
I'm glad you said it, not me, because I was thinking it and I was like, am I wrong? I feel like he's had King Queen all night.
I love that. There's nothing more beautiful than all that paint on my cards. One color.
Yeah, he will raise it up with his knit button as well. He'll just take that down, and
He either gets pushed out of the hand, or he wins his tiny pot with it.
yeah,
I think that's almost every one.
the tiny pot feels a little better when you get rid of your nick button,
We're gonna call
but
it creative, not bluff.
I'm sure he'd prefer a big pot.
Let's just call it getting out of line. That's what most people say.
$20 straddle on.
Well,
You got out of
quickly,
line?
folks. Well, we'll do it after this, Hannah. I want to remind you of our summer series
I just want to know what happened.
coming up soon.
Wow, that's really creative play.
Yeah, that's the magic word. It says what you need to say without saying it.
Raised to 60 by just James. He's got king jack off. Call by Evan. Ace 10 suited.
100.
A couple of chatters were like, time for a comeback by Evan.
Yeah, Evan making a comeback. Wasn't really down very much.
Actually, I guess maybe the graphics changed. So Rick has the ace 10. Sorry.
Hot
In top pair.
hot three, cold flop, hot again on turn. Station river.
Just James is going to bet small. And after Rick raises here, I think this is going to shut things down. Small pot there for Rick, and gets rid of his nit button.
All right, put on your radio voice, partner.
Yep, the Summer Series coming to TCH Social in Austin. This is a 16 trophy event. July 15th through the 28th, 600K plus in guarantees, and the X factor is the 25K bonus thrown in by the club for the players of the series. First place will receive 10K based on the point system of performance throughout the series. So a lot of money to be made and a little extra on top if you have a great series.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun in the Trailblazer. You know, our buddy Lottie, our commentator friend William Lottie. Lottie, if you're listening, shout out to you. Great job cashing the other night, WSOP. Good job. Big field. Did well. Got all your ladder up notes that you spin out. But he was in the top 50. That's what we had with the Trailblazers. The top 50 from across Texas and all the different venues got together, played a final table, got some swag, got a little bag of swag. So this is kind of a continuation of that. And we are going to have the Trailblazer coming up very soon in the fall. I'll show that graphic in just a minute.
Yeah, the Trailblazer was such a success. I'm excited to see what it's like the second time around because it's going to have
a lot more momentum.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
A good reputation that has preceded it. Bones, ace queen, he'll 3-bet to 350.
I actually told management, why don't you start calling it the State Championships of Texas?
Yeah, or the Texas Poker Open if that doesn't already exist or something. Yeah, kind of like a.
Because with the multi-venues that we have at TCH, nobody can actually say that if you have somebody win the Trailblazer, it is the State Championship of Texas from all over. So nobody else can say that. Locations: Dallas, Las Colinas, Spring, Houston, RGV, Rio Grande Valley, and Austin.
So we had a raise from JY, a call from Optimize, and a squeeze from Bones. And yeah, JY lets it go, and Optimize wisely letting go of the ace jack.
Close, and he shows him that he was dominated. A lot of respect between those two guys.
It is kind of an interesting dynamic in the nit game because obviously you want to be able to play a little bit wider, and you're more likely to play some pots with, you know, some weaker hands. But you also, sometimes I think it can motivate people to fold because you know you're going to get to see what your opponent had.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it makes that fold of ace jack a little easier. You get to see. And of course, that was
that's a very good point.
A satisfying result of seeing that he was dominated. Another 3-bet with ace queen, this time Evan. And he is going to be 4-bet by Optimize with The 7-8 suited.
Don't think Evan's going anywhere. He's been watching this and seen this table in action quite a bit. I don't think he's going anywhere.
Yeah, Optimize has been a monster with these small suited hands, and Evan will flat.
Optimize is probably thinking, well, this kid hasn't played a lot of hands tonight.
And once again, Optimize out flopping the better pre-flop hand. He's got a pair of 8s. Evan checks over, and yeah, Optimize definitely has to bet here.
Joaquin, if Evan's going to make a comeback tonight, he's got to hit if he calls this off, which is, I think, a reasonable call with 2 overs to the board.
Yeah, and Evan's sitting on about 1,500. The bet's 275. This is getting to an uncomfortable stack size to be just calling, and he let it go.
So you were there. I thought he was going to call there, but you were thinking he was going to call.
I think when you have that stack size, I mean, unless he just plans on rebuying, of course we don't know, but yeah, I think you just kind of let it go, or if you got a ton of guts and don't believe your opponent, you could just rip it.
Well, the table's been hard on the young superstar.
Better to be lucky than
Yeah,
good,
he's played well. He just hasn't had the best of it.
No, yeah.
A little unlucky to get out flopped by 8 high there.
I know, they're bangers. I
I
knew
always
you were
wish
going to like
we
that
had
one.
runs. I mean, a lot of people my age, I won't say what that is, but it's, you know, measured in millennia. A lot of people my age don't really like playing with a lot of younger players. I prefer them. First of all, they're not crusty and salty like a lot of people my age. Secondly, they get me out of my ruts. Because
Yeah.
I know a lot of them are really studious.
That's a boss
in the game.
move. Hey, let's finish it up real quick.
drives
Let's
me.
finish it up.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So we don't have to say your age, but were you born in the tertiary period or the Pleistocene, or
You give
I'm
me a
trying
lot
to
of
remember.
Cambrian, man.
Cambrian, okay.
I was way before.
Nice flex,
Land
knowing
animals.
another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I was a science student. Damn it, man, I'm a scientist. What do you want?
Ace King for just James.
Pre-Cambrian.
Coming over the top of Manny's raise, or 3-bet. Danny will make the call. Just James in the driver's seat here.
We couldn't believe you went to the bathroom during the mid game.
Is out of position.
When you gotta go, you gotta go. Dude, would you rather pay $200?
And that's an ace high flop, just James.
I mean, you know, depends on what season
Stranglehold
of my life,
on
man.
this hand. How does he want to play it? He's going to go ahead and
When I was 8 years
bet.
old, I walked
And
around the house with a $100 bill.
unfortunately for him,
Freaking
this
out
is
about
one
it.
of the worst flops for Manny.
Freaking out.
But it looks like Manny may be considering a
I
move.
thought you were about to say when you were 8 years old, you walked around the house kissing yourself.
Well, no, that was a couple years before that.
He'll let it go.
Ace King.
I was a little concerned when he started
what I
fiddling
think
with his
should
chips when he got stacked
Yeah,
by optimized earlier.
that's kinda BS
Of course, he
during
did
the
have
mid
top
game.
pair, but
Hold him.
when he ripped it,
Yeah, his head's
This
down.
guy's
He's like,
went in with a pair of
he
eights.
doesn't want any attention.
Yeah.
Without the mid
All of a sudden, you're the tallest Mexican in the world. I
It's
don't believe it.
similar lead
You wear
up.
lifts?
Yeah, I know.
Bitch.
I know, yeah. Cold, boring, suited connectors. I mean, you know. I'm good for the game, you guys. Good for the game.
I think you were just picking on Evan. You wouldn't do that if somebody else was in the hand.
Well, he had his knit button, so I said, all right. He's got to call any
Raise for Manny. Ace 8 off. He has his knit button still.
Yeah.
And then you hit the river.
And it's not for not trying to get rid of it. And these two, it's the Rick and Manny battle once again. And this time it's going to be in Rick's favor, top pair. He'll check over to Manny, and Manny's going to bet 200 pretty quickly.
We may get a little revenge here for making him fold those small pairs.
Same weekend as ACL and UT Oklahoma.
Just going to flat. Manny looking for an ace. Improves to a pair and checks to him again, and Manny's going to keep firing.
And with this hard draw and with the queen, even with the bad kicker, he's going nowhere. Rick is here. He may even decide to use this combo draw or semi-combo draw to raise.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he just rips it and
He
does.
does. Good. There was a good prediction. You
Man,
proceeded
no.
the chip shove.
Dark as hell.
It's hot in here. Keep it hot.
Morenita.
Manny with just really a bluff catcher.
Yeah. Well, and Jesse's here. He's always smoking. All right, Jesse.
Rick has faded the snap, so likely knows he's ahead. Manny will let it go.
Live stream dealer would be that'd be a pretty silly spot to choose.
Always nice when you make a move like that with a moderate strength hand and fade the snap.
Yeah. As soon as every second that goes by, you feel better and better.
Yeah. You go from please don't snap to please call.
Yeah, that's exactly what you. It's funny how in poker you can just have this complete reversal of thought
I know
process.
in
You have that little bit of
Okay, that's so
rush
much worse than the
for
virgin.
the first 2
That's
seconds
like-
that you make
that's
a move like that,
straight up
and then after 5 seconds, it's an endorphin. Like
that is
what they call it,
religious and spiritual in nature.
the chemical in the brain that
There's
gives
no question
pleasure.
about it.
Dopamine release.
Dopamine release. Yeah. I can't believe I asked a scientist.
I thought you had a lot of like resistance.
And you had it.
Well, you knew I could play ball with my,
Everybody knows Kyle's got a
archaeological time period.
Yeah, that was the truth there.
I think it says something. That's all I'm saying.
And I'm going to take my Cambrian butt out for a break.
Read into it.
Ladies and gentlemen, TCH Social Live Austin as Jesse deals. Is this our last bomb pot? No, I guess second to last bomb pot of the night. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to leave it to Whammo for a minute while I go out and check with the players before we close this down. They're on a little bit of a delay, but if you'd like to come and play in our live stream, please let us know. Get in touch with us. Call up here and say, how do I get the frick on the live stream? We'd love to have you.
Set of queens on the turn for optimize on the bottom board. 2 pair for Ronnie on top. Oh, and set of 9s for just James has the top at the moment.
Hello. Is there any coffee? Oh, yeah.
No, I don't think he's here today. In fact, I know he's not here today. If he was, he'd already be over here.
Rick's got diamonds. He's going to need some help on these rivers.
I think we're on the same page about what's going on. I tip high. He gives me good service. It's as simple as that.
And Rick does get there with a flush. Not a great flush, but it is the best hand on top. Optimizes set of
I don't
queens.
think he's jealous like that.
Good on bottom.
Ooh. 225, sir.
Broadway straight does come in on the river. Optimize will flat, and see what just James wants to do here. He'll let it go. Rick and Optimize will chop this one up. Emily in chat says, good job, James. Indeed, a nice fold, not paying that one off.
Ooh, boy.
In and out.
Can sometimes call with a set of 9s there in a bomb pot, but you don't love it, and you certainly don't want to do it multi-way. Heads up, you can think about it.
You think so?
Seems like it's gonna be a long one.
Each way. We need some out of there.
Yeah, he threw that me.
Me. Not you.
Well,
Yeah.
I was in there too, baby.
You already
It was
did.
both of
4
us.
ways to a
It
flop.
was a 3-way.
7, 8, 9 rainbow.
He threw that.
It's going to be top pair and an open-ender for Bronny.
I did.
No, I don't.
Allegedly, yeah. I don't think I should
It's going to check through, and that's going to be 2 pair for Bronny. But 4 liner to the straight is really going to slow the action down here.
No, he made it to 350.
Sometimes you gotta tell them the way.
Queen on the river
Yeah, it's private.
actually would have given the best hand to the Queen 10 that folded, but
Best hand, deuce to 7. You want the lowest hand possible.
Rick's going to bet out on a terrifying board for
Yep, yep.
2 pair,
As far as you use
9s and 10s.
on the betting before the
28, 38,
Goes around the betting.
Spades get there,
Very gambling.
the obvious straight.
Seems like there's not much to it.
There's a
Do
lot.
you see?
It's very
Do you
complex.
see anyone's cards? Any of their?
No,
Pair
that's all
debts.
face-on.
Should be able to pay our debts here.
So like,
No, 5 card draw. 5 card draw.
Ronnie does have his nip button,
You get dealt 5
so
cards, and then whoever makes the best
slightly
hand
more
gets
incentive to
deuce
call
7,
if he
whoever
can
makes the worst hand.
yeah.
You get 1 bet.
be correct here once in a while, but lets it go.
The wheel's no good.
Wheel and deuce
Good
is
hand.
7, 5, 4, 3 deuce. Is the
Nice
wheel.
move by Rick.
That's the
Is
best.
ace low?
We've
Oh,
been saying that a lot tonight.
Okay, gotcha.
No
Nuts,
Got you.
nuts is called a wheel. 2, 3, 4, 5, 7.
Got you.
Nuts is not. You said nuts is the
And that gets Rick up
Nuts is
to
called a wheel.
2,300
Oh.
in
2, 3, 4,
profit
5, 7.
for the night. Bones still
very hard to
in the
make.
lead up
Interesting.
4,500.
So if you got like a bunch of 2s in your hand, you just go crazy.
Just James optimizing, Bronny all winning.
7s and 8s.
No.
No?
Deuces.
Deuces, really?
Deuces seems like the card you want.
Make a good low hand without a deuce.
That's a good point.
The collector with more suited Broadway cards, kind of been the story of his night, hasn't really
On the river though,
connected
you want to bluff with
as
a higher
often as he
card.
would like.
There's a lot. There's like in theory, there's a lot like over betting and crap that goes on. Huge bluffs. He doesn't have one.
Is it no limit?
Yeah. 4x game.
Yeah.
What?
And this time he does connect in the biggest way. He has flopped Broadway with a royal flush draw. Unfortunately, Manny has the 10 of diamonds, so we won't be seeing a royal flush, but
Even dealers, I can tell you.
Yeah,
Half the dealers here.
Yeah.
dealers. I mean, they're just gonna mass exit.
Manny does have a pair and an open ender.
That's pure no answer. Outcome.
And Rick raises it up with 6 deuce. The aggression has paid off for Rick all night, but it will not be in this case. And wow, Manny makes the call, so
Really know until today that it's affecting
what's the
players.
collector want to do with the absolute nuts and a redraw to the nuts?
But for sure, there are like a few games.
Dream spot for the collector.
Yeah. Apparently they took all the PLO back about.
You have so few turn cards that you dislike. Obviously, you don't want the board to pair. I think in this spot you want to just flat. Love the flat call there. Let his opponents give him more chances to put money in the pot. Ace of spades on the river. And that's really going to slow down the action. Excuse me. That makes Manny Broadway as well. So collector, unfortunately, gets counterfeit, but is on a free roll to diamonds. And Rick's going to keep betting. Call. Manny rips it.
Why even do it? Why even do it? By doing
Collector's going to take a moment. Certainly will not be folding.
it's so strange.
It's going to ask for a count. For any of you who may be thinking this is a bit of a slow roll, it is indeed not, because he has a player behind him who he could get to come along.
Aside from basic tournament structure and marketing, I'd say like second or third are most important thing.
He rips it. Rick folds, and here's a big free roll for the collector, looking for a diamond. Does not come. Chop it up.
With the royal flush. I know. And all that. Oh yeah, no royal draw. Get in there.
Wow, really unfortunate chop there for the collector.
You're betting into us, so we both have it. Yeah, like, brutal.
Does make 255 in profit, but when you flop the nuts with the redraw to the nuts,
No, chop doesn't
better
count.
do a royal flush. Certainly not thrilled with chopping.
Something good? I should have raised. I don't know if you stick around. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, isn't that ironic?
We've got just about 30 minutes left here at TCH Social Austin. I'm Kyle Frisbee, joined by Uncle T in the booth tonight.
Get some change.
Had a great turnout of you guys watching live. If you haven't already, would love it if you would hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. We're here every Wednesday night. This is our meat and potatoes game, the 5-5 uncapped. Really, it's 5-5, 10, sometimes 20. Next week, we do have our VPIP game, which is, if you love a wild night of poker, definitely tune in for that one. That game just started up in the last few weeks and it's been a huge, exciting success. 3-bet from Evan, King Queen suited. You know, Uncle T, I was saying we've seen a lot of top sets earlier. Now I think we've seen an abnormal number of King Queen suited. I feel like every other hand somebody has King Queen
It's
suited.
not the collector this time.
Well,
It's called Outcast with a K.
A moment ago, the collector had Ace Queen of Diamonds as you took your break, flopped Broadway with a royal flush draw, and Manny counterfeited him on the turn and chopped the pot.
For a second. He was like, I don't know if I know this song. Like, really?
Never heard of Outcast.
Well, not counterfeited, but caught up to the same straight, and he did not get there on his pre-roll.
Let me guess. One of
That's why I said he needs to look up
hard
Outcast.
to hit the board after he
Greatest
had
rap
the
duo of all time.
Yeah, the ace came on the turn.
And that is what they call a dead flop.
Yeah, 6-6 deuce. Evan good with king high.
I'm a vegans, man. I didn't know who Michael Jackson was.
Optimize has taken the betting lead away from Evan a couple of times, got him out of the hand. Let's see if he does it again.
The guy's been under a rock eating asparagus.
And just gets there. Optimize has been a beast with these suited middling cards, and he's going to get bet into by Evan just as he makes top pair.
Right now, Optimize is thinking, why would he check?
Do you know
that
where
flop
Houston is?
Actually,
Just hip hop. Just hip hop. That's what he doesn't mind. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he puts him on exactly what he has. Tens up, become tens upper, more up.
He was. It's not
Yeah, I think Evan's just going to shut down here. Check back from Optimize. Probably worried about being out-kicked. He will take down a nice pot.
Unfortunately, it's just been on the short end of those kind of hands a lot.
You know, I wish we had deep analytics for these streams because I would love to look up if Optimize has won the most money in a given stream with suited connecting cards. It feels like this must be a record of some sort.
Oh, you said somebody his opponent has it? Or
Yeah, he's won. I think the majority of his 2100 has been with those suited
I think he's hanging
one gapping, two gapping type hands.
What a comeback. He's going to have to come back in the night. Like you said early, he got coolered and has been a steady, nice climb to the $2,100 mark.
Yeah,
profit.
he in fact, I believe he's on a $3,900 upswing from bottom, so very
And we've
nice.
seen him do that over and over.
Is that the band that goes like?
As he calls with Queen Deuce, decides he's going to get a little bit out of line. Their flick started out of line, and he's a little bit out of line.
Definitely not Outcast.
Queen Jack Deuce,
Outcast is 3.
a couple of diamonds.
Open ender for JY, so he's got some possibilities.
Yeah, top and bottom for Optimize. He'll bet it.
no big diamonds out there for anybody to get excited about.
2010 to now.
Yeah, okay.
JY open-ended with his nip button.
I forgot how much.
Hannah Montana, Jonas Brothers.
Only 3 left in the knit game. He, Manny, and Bronny. Oh, and Evan, excuse me.
I know she came up with that Texas Hold'em.
4 left.
Yeah, but that's not even
Is she
anything.
the one who does Umbrella?
That's Rihanna.
Yeah.
4 of diamonds.
Similar.
Optimized
Close.
with the only diamond
Close
draw.
enough.
There.
I can't do it.
What?
Dude, the stream is just gonna roast.
Now he's
Jack.
counterfeited his boost, but he's still got top
Oh,
2.
no.
Queens up. And a complete whiff
No
for
shot.
JY.
No chance he knows who knows.
The river was his jack.
The real Nas. Not that guy.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Little
One queen that is not.
No.
And look at the frustration. I was watching the
yeah.
language of JY. He's starting to get
This was
frustrated. He's
straight.
now tightened up.
Black rapper.
A little bit of a wipe at the brow at the end. You know, like, come on.
Nos is an old.
Now we get
Do you know who 50 Cent is?
where he has no idea what's
You're
on
just
the
going in the
board.
wrong direction. That he's gonna know.
Yeah, I can definitely empathize with
See, you
the
know
type of
50
session
Cent?
he's had tonight, because sometimes you show up, you play poker, you get in a ton of awkward spots, and it really feels like work. And I think he's kind of having one of those nights. Then other nights you show up and you're like, hey, if I just play my game, this is easy.
You know Jay-Z? I know who Jay-Z is. He
All you gotta do is hit flops. All you
I'll
gotta
take you to the candy shop. I'll let you
Yeah,
get
that's, you know,
lollipops.
there's a
I
famous
sung
line
that
from
song
the
in
movie.
the band.
I
That's
keep
50
chopping
Cent.
and no chips
50
are
Cent,
flush.
baby.
You know?
Hands. That's a good band.
Is that that song?
Yeah, that's 50 Cent.
That's 50, baby.
Got a 3-bet from Bronny with Queen Jack suited, just James. A couple of 8s.
Yeah, original Razor with the 8s. It's 3
Oh,
bets.
just like marching band.
And here's Manny with Ace Queen. He will 4-bet to 325,
Sang the
leaving him
lyrics?
about 1K behind.
You didn't sing the
We
lyrics.
did. We sung the lyrics.
I'll take you to this candy shop. I'll let you
high
get the
school
lollipop.
We did in the stands. We sung the lyrics. Yeah.
Just James is going to let go of the
We used to
8s.
play that. We used to play the song, and then people would sing it in the bandstand.
And
And
Bronny
then the band
going to
director
make
had no
the
idea
call.
what the song was about, and then he realized one year.
He's
he
got a
was
lot
great
more
solo
money in
for
front of him than Manny does, so
He was
if
that
this
was
queen hits, it's going to be a quick shove by
But he
Manny.
was directing.
Yeah, Manny SPR 0.7.
the band.
It may be a shove anyway.
There's like other students.
Actually, I did the math backwards. I guess it's 1.3, however you want to look at it.
Just about to say, this is what's difficult about playing with Manny out of position, and then Bronny steals the betting lead.
Yeah, 2 overs, a gutter, backdoor
Not
diamonds.
only have you heard his music, but you've actually performed it for a large audience.
Yes, I have
Nice move by
performed
Bronny.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Yes, I mean,
That's more like
And
you
he
guys.
takes it down.
Nice hand.
And he shows to boot. And he's not happy with that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Bones, you never
I would
bet
say
there
there's a
with queen
decent
high?
chance that he kind of took
Had 2
Manny's
overs and a gutter?
move away from him.
Real
I wouldn't have done
I
it
usually
at all.
don't do that unless it's an
Manny
open ender, but
went
2 overs and a gutter is about
Yeah,
the
that's
same, right?
exactly what I was thinking.
And then what do you
As
do
soon as
with
that
queen
flop
high?
hit, I thought, here comes the shove anyway.
Other artists
Didn't have to hit. But yeah, that was absolutely pulling the rug out with Manny's move.
I believe, yeah.
That'll get Bronny up about $900 on the night.
Any pair you got.
There they are. Somebody play my 5s, damn it.
I wasn't trying to needle you, I just had to show because of the hit button. I really wish that Bones was in that hand with me.
Collector will limp those
Everybody
by
wants to bluff
and
Bones
get
up
raised by Evan. Evan trying to get rid of his nip button. He's got ace 8.
A lot of One Direction.
Bones says, that's enough of that. I've got aces again.
And he was just getting needled a little bit by Bronny. Everybody wants to bluff Bones off a hand.
Dude, you don't know a song from 50 Cent. This is just, let's get this guy off the stream.
That was a little bit before my time.
Collector out of there.
But you gotta, come on, like, in the club. 21 questions? No? You know
Yeah,
Ludacris?
Bones just take down a small pot
In the
there.
club, you know that, right?
Yeah.
Probably a little disappointed with the
Anyone
Nick game
don't like
still on, not to get more action, but tough to feel bad for Bones tonight. He's having a heck of a night.
Yeah, really. I'm sure he'll
You know
cry all the way
Tupac,
to the
right?
bank.
No.
You don't go to California. Don't go to
He's the guy that's like
California.
dead, isn't he? Or there's conspiracy about him?
Yeah,
I bet he knows. Hey, I bet he knows Diddy. I bet he knows Diddy.
the group, I was listening to Bronny there.
What did he
Was
write?
talking about how quiet Bronny was and how active he is, and he's kind of coming into his own and relaxed a little bit.
Finally got charged.
You know, winning a few pots will.
And a beer.
Yeah. Oh, that doesn't hurt either. I'm pretty sure there's a direct positive correlation for how much I'm winning and how much I'm talking. I will admit.
What
about
there
how
were
that-
prostitutes? There were just
You're talking and
friendly
drinking.
women.
Is that
Well, I don't
correlation?
drink, so
You don't
there's
drink at all?
no.
Wow.
So
I'm not much of a drinker either. People are always surprised when I take one, which is pretty rare.
Bones goes from aces to ace
Bones,
queen.
I'll give you 2 to 1 for $100.
He'll
2 to 1
raise
for
it up and win a
$100.
small
I'll
one
say
again.
Either
People maybe get
Evan
a
or
little bit red-assed about
KY
that. He's kind of just
are gonna
had
be
his
the
way
nit.
tonight.
2 to 1 odds. I'm giving you 2 to 1 odds. I'd say it's either gonna
No,
be.
it's the rage.
I'm giving you 2 to 1 odds. I picked that it's either gonna be Evan or KY. Are you willing to take that bet? 2 to 1 odds.
That'd be a bad bet.
For me or for him?
For him.
Oh, why? I'm giving you 2 to 1 for $100.
You're annoying me.
Because you're giving him even money on a random chance. Are you strapping?
Yeah. 10.
Side bet being proposed by Bronny of who loses the net game.
Sometimes, like, you think I'm like a complete fucking moron.
Okay, why didn't take it?
I just thought you like to gamble. That's
you
not
like
the
aggress
road I
me
was going with this,
Like
bro.
I'm some fucking rude.
No.
I think in his mind he actually thought that.
If I've heard this
Yeah,
right,
Well, I did for
trying
me.
to bet on
You think I'm
Manny.
trying to make a good bet for him? That would be stupid of me, right? I was like,
Well,
There's only 3 players. so you gotta
honestly,
give him more.
I just thought
Wouldn't be
that
the
you
worst
like to gamble.
decision given he plays
And-
a lot of hands. He
So, I
raises
mean,
this one up.
the odds are not always in
3
your
off.
favor. If you're like, you're the nit. Oh man, you want to take this bet? Last chance. I'll give you 5 to 1 odds.
Oh, you goddamn
5 to 1.
6 to 1, it's bluffed at 100.
Oh, I can't call that.
Manny
Sorry,
loses
guys.
his nit button
I'm not
with
sorry.
queen 3
You
off.
deserve that one.
Bomb pot. How much time
I
we got
see
left?
why I need like a lot of money to be around him in a period of time.
And we move on to
Bones, we almost
Bump
had a
Off.
deal here today, dude. Look at the scenario. It just worked out in my
Good
favor.
left?
It was just me and him last.
Like it.
I offered a bet way before that scenario.
Should be able to get there.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. You never know.
3 minutes, yeah. We might just literally end on the spot.
having fun?
They'll probably
Am I having fun? Where you going? Where you
For
going?
you being the nit.
Yeah, but I prefer the beer in the
You
home.
might as well.
We're on
get
hand
that lottery
84.
ticket.
Jesse in the box.
Like 1 in a million.
Our producer, Kristen, running the cards. I'm Uncle T. He's the whammo.
Let me get like
Joining
Bones
us tonight.
to scoop one.
Been a fun night of poker. Hope you've enjoyed it. Haven't seen
Let
a
me
lot
get
of
like Bones
chatting
to
lately.
scoop her.
Cheeseburger.
Don't fall asleep on us. It's too early.
Check.
Bomb pot.
This song makes me think of the Goonies.
Who is this? I don't know who this is. I've heard the song, but I don't know.
Aces for Bronny, a set. Top set on the top board. We got Jack 9 for the Manny Fresh nut boat on the bottom.
She's pretty back in the day.
So pretty much going to narrow down really quick here. I don't see any sets of 8s. I don't see any 9 Jack.
Okay, so I know they both existed. What's the difference
Hearts.
between the Beastie
Don't
Boys
really
and
see
the
anybody
Beastie
with
Boys?
hearts either. So this is going to narrow down 2 players pretty quick. Although we get
Way
$25 called.
What is it, rap group?
Looks like 8-7 makes it straight for Optimize
Beastie Boys?
and for Rick.
Beastie Boys are a rap group.
Not exactly what they were
completely
looking
different.
for.
The Beastie Boys are a rap group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not.
Aces boat up,
yeah, it's
so
like
Bronny has got the nuts,
It's
well,
only
second
like-
nuts to the quad fours.
Beastie Boys?
And
The
Manny
Beach Boys were.
has still
The
got
Beach Boys were.
the best
Yeah.
boat on the
Nice.
bottom.
The Beastie Boys are 90s?
90s?
Sabotage is in the
We'd be
90s.
nuts.
What about the
Intergalactic.
Beach Boys are way.
Optimize does come along with his small straight.
Intergalactic Planetary was
Doesn't have a
90s,
lot of
Sabotage
Ls.
90s.
Yeah, the Beach
Got
Boys
the
are like
dummy
a-
end. Rick does too, and he's probably going to give it up, as you should. Optimize with the rainbow doesn't even have a flush draw.
What's going on? How does he real?
You raise. You raise.
Oh, he's in the hand. Oh, I see. Sorry, I missed that.
What other big artists?
Manny shoves his Jack 9 after Bronny raises his nut boat.
No.
Where's
This will get optimized out of there.
Yep.
And we're going to get down to the 2 players we thought, but the pot kind of inflates a little bit. Not much.
Trying to keep a heads up.
Money.
Yeah.
Did you call?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, my
you're in trouble.
gosh. Oh, my
Boat,
gosh.
baby.
Ronnie hits the ace. The case ace at the end to scoop.
Woo! I needed you in there,
Wow.
big dog. And Bones.
Wow, Manny takes off. Horrible beat at the
That was
end.
a sick river.
And Bronny scoops the whole thing, hitting the
Did I scare
case
you off
ace
with that
at
500?
the
I
end.
should have smooched
Well,
all
that, folks,
I mean, you'd
is
have got
just
me
so bomb putty.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what
But he
else
would have
to
bet,
call
he
it.
would have called, then I would have
You have the
recanned.
nuts, and then you don't. Wow. What a bomb pot that is.
That's a 1-outer.
Aces
That's almost how you run.
versus the Jack 9.
That's
Yeah. Yeah.
does better. He hits two. Bones hits 2-outers, right? Somehow I feel like I didn't get max value there. I don't know why. Should I have potted a flop? Did I get max value?
Wow, that was stinky, folks. What do you
No,
think
I'm
about
talking
that
about
little
getting
bomb
one of
pot
them in there.
action?
I knew you weren't folding.
I had the other jack. I was drawing.
So Bronny scoops it, hits that case ace, and takes both boards with a
I
nut.
think he should just lose the net button for that and then
Back to Manny, who wasn't that deep and is buying in for more. It's been a rough night for Manny. He's down 5K, 6K. Wow, even more than I thought. Bronny gets his number up to 2.4. I think that's actually a little bit of a lag there. I think he's up a little bit more. But
50-50 right
there wasn't a ton of dead money in that. But
The odds
there's
are
nothing worse than having somebody hit their 1-outer to scoop on you. You had the lock on one of the
I'm the
boards.
net. That's why he still got the net button.
Sometimes it's just not your night.
This is getting crazy. This is out of hand. This is out of hand. This is just because you made one bad bluff, that doesn't make you not a net.
Yeah. Just ask everybody. You have the lowest rating here.
I don't think so. Not no
Collector,
more.
ace king
Right.
suited.
Jesse, can we get another repick? Just tell me
Suited
who's the
Broadways has
lowest.
been the story of the collector's night.
And tell me which 3 are tied for the.
Just tell him to fuck off, Stephanie.
Oh, dude.
Got the button, got the best suited connector.
Now you don't want to know
Things
both, 'cause
working
you
in the
were 22%.
collectors.
You had me about 1%.
Corner for this hand.
There's no way I'm the lowest. I
Nick
was
game's
calling
still
stupid
on.
hands for no reason. Just not to be the lowest. Because I mean, if 3 people are tied at
Is that a
22,
shove?
you don't
Yeah,
want to be
that's a
21.
shove by Evan.
Oh no.
And he doesn't
rooting
even
for you,
have
buddy.
the spades to fall back on.
Turn
Yeah.
them over. Turn them over.
First step of the night
Turn them
for-
over. Let's race it.
For Evan. See if he can hit one of these cards. There's some chop possibilities now.
Nobody to the club.
Wow.
Collector holds, collects. 1789. Got to be saying finally one of those hands won.
Yeah, and without hitting. Too.
Or without being counterfeit for a chop.
If Evan's going to stick
Sicko,
around,
huh?
maybe just in for one
But I
bullet.
mean, I already had that. I wasn't sweating nothing. It was just lucky. I was hoping he was going to get 3-way action. Shot. That was kind of the goal. But just worked out good.
What is that?
Are you leaving?
Well, if he's leaving,
He's leaving. He's got to pay it. You don't want to buy him for 500? You don't want to. You don't want to Venmo 5 and rebuy? I mean, that,
Cash App time for you.
yeah, he's paying us. So you're done.
Yeah, you're off the hook.
Yeah, we're good. Can't believe it, dude. This ain't right.
You're on me. That's it. Adam pays $200.
Are we playing this pot?
Bones the banker. The banker today. Thank goodness he's here. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd had to
it's
go
always
home
good
hours
when you
ago if not for the banker.
got a 4,600 profit margin and somebody says, "Do you have any money?"
You certainly can't say no.
Still 1,000 behind.
I have been known.
Is that your dollar right there, Justin? There you go.
Sorry, brother. All my money's on the table.
Yeah, of course.
Manny, you straddling or no?
Well, folks, we're down to about our last 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Really appreciate y'all joining us tonight. It's been a good game.
Is it $25?
Once again, I want to remind you the next week we're going to do the Modelo Poppy's VPIP Survivor, where we vote somebody off the island every hour. The lowest voluntary put in pot, the nittiest player, will be kicked off the table, bring in somebody else. And let me tell you, as you remember, it's actiony, it's fun, people love it, and so I think the last VPIP kicked off the island on the last one was it 60, 56%?
Yeah, I think 56 was the low VPIP that actually got kicked off. So if that tells you anything,
yeah, that ought to tell you. It just got ramped up more and more. As Rick hits with a bad kicker, King, Bronny does have.
He would rather pay the 200
7-3
than K1. You know, like
They
K1.
just starting to open up a little bit, as if they weren't already.
KJ.
I don't care his speech.
Whatever. Why do?
KY jelly.
I'm gonna fold.
Bronny gets out of the way.
Oh fucking shit.
Yeah, neither one of them had a nib button, but they sure acted like it.
Nice.
Well,
nice.
folks, just to
Nice.
remind you,
What
the
a shitty
Trailblazer Tour, which starts in TCH Dallas, Las Colinas in September, will run all the way through April. We'll wind up here at TCH Social in Austin, Texas. This is our big annual series, over $7 million in prizes last season. Or we also will do the card giveaway, the Trailblazer. So this is our Trailblazer Poker Tour Part 2. Easy for me to say.
He was ahead just.
It's a little bit advanced, notice, but if any of you like to play those bigger tournaments, they're starting off in Las Colinas in Dallas in September, and it will run for 6 months, traveling from TCH to TCH.
If it was anybody else but Bones, that would have repopped it there. On the bottom.
Brace from Bones has got King Jack off. Nobody with much here. And that's going to be top 2 for Bones. Nobody with a heart, monotone board. Bones puts out a quick bet.
What a surprise, Bones smashing it. Although the hearts may slow the action down a little bit.
Yeah, both players call. And Optimize with just a pair of 4s. Rick with a whole lot of nothing.
And he's gonna bet into him. Bet 115. Rick's getting out of line.
Tell you what, man, and Bones has just been so spot on in these spots. Of course, he does have to. Well, this is going to be tougher. Yeah, that's
the perfect part for Rick.
I actually was thinking the 4th heart had already come when I started that statement, but I think it's going to be much tougher here for Bones to call.
Yeah.
But Rick does go.
Value bet. You know, a nice little $185 bet, 2/3 pot, or I guess less than that, about 40% of pot. Yeah. If Bones makes this call, I'm just going to call him baller.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, we all have to just tip our hats, take our hats off, whatever you want to put it to Bones if he can make this call.
And he does go to do the soul read on Rick and gets a smile from Rick. He just smile back at him.
He lets it go. Nice
job,
move, Rick. You know, Rick's done a really.
He didn't show it because they were calling for somebody to bluff. So sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to say Rick is he's picked up, I think, by far the most money. Yeah. Well, I guess you could argue most earned, really, if you don't have it. But, yeah, I mean, he's just picked a lot of those good spots and applied pressure, and he's got a nice stack to show for it. Well, I wish I had more info, but that is just something to be excited about. As I mentioned much earlier, we do have a rewards program coming to TCH Social in Austin. So there will be rewards for playing at the club. I am told those will be more substantial than you might have in other instances where maybe you get a free burger for playing for a while. So the details are to come. But
I want the free slap chop. You know what slap chop is?
I don't.
Do you remember that goofy guy? There's the thing that it dices and slices.
Oh, yes.
That dude that got arrested for being I don't know what he was.
Or the Ronco rotisserie, the set it and forget it.
Yes. Yeah.
You could use your slap chop to.
Yeah. I will say that I bought a couple things off of TikTok. That's a mistake.
Yeah, total junk.
Yeah, there was this great little car vacuum that I bought, and it was the slap
time
chop
is the bone?
of car vacuums.
You know, I bought a cheapy car vacuum off the internet. I don't think it was TikTok Shop, but something similar.
Probably not even.
And total junk, too.
Yeah.
We might have the same vacuum.
Yeah, we probably.
Another net game.
Well,
huh?
I don't have it anymore.
Yeah, if we can finish.
I might have thrown it up against the wall in the garage.
Pair of deuces, good for Rick.
Yeah.
Maybe someone
Rick,
will
you're on a
just
hot
get
streak.
frustrated and
And James is going to bet.
James
Are you leaving? Are you leaving right after
stole
the
Rick's
stream?
move.
No second
He's
move.
going to find out that he was good. And they're not even, they're acting like they're still playing the nit game, but they're not.
You know, just James putting together just a real solid, kind of, I would argue, somewhat stress-free type of session, and
Yeah, he
making $2,200. Not a bad night.
He didn't really get put to the test much tonight.
Yeah, he stays out of, you know, he's a real smart guy. He keeps himself out of tough spots. You know, he won't make that call on the turn that might end up in a really tough river decision.
That's very weird.
Just picks his spots very wisely. And
Such an underrated athlete. Just not putting yourself in a bad spot. And you see so many 1-2 players, you know, all players, in all games, put themselves in a position where they should have spent more time thinking about what they have to do on the next card.
100%.
And, you know, you'll see the processors like Optimize and Bones thinking about that. I think of that fold just then with those 4 hearts. The Bones was like, you know, he went through a process, but he went ahead and made the call as he should have on the turn. But then he probably had already made up his mind what he was going to do on the flop. I mean, on the river. And that heart just was like, okay. You know, think about that next bet. Think about, okay, he just raised me 175 on the flop. What's he going to do on the turn? And what can I hit that would make that worth calling? Outs are not just for rivers. They're for all through the process.
What are you gonna play? 2-5?
Well, folks, I'm going to leave it to Wemo. I'm going to go out, and we're on a 15-minute delay here, and I always like to go out to the table and thank the players for joining us. Join us next week for the Big T-Theft Survivor, and I will talk to you soon. Maybe I'll make it back in here for your closing comments.
Sounds good. Give Uncle T a thumbs up in the chat.
Looks like
That has been the man, the myth, the legend. Uncle T, America's favorite uncle. I'll be with you guys the rest of the way. Trips. Oh, excuse me. Had a misread on my graphic here. Actually, just that'll make it straight for Bones. 4 clubs though. Can't love it. See if just James wants to try to steal this one.
They'll put us on the top of the list, huh? Right? Or no?
They're talking about coming over here now. I'm listening to them. Straight. Be patient.
Thinks better of it.
They'll
Checks
come
back
over here after
and
the game,
straight
or what?
good for Bones.
Yeah, because once the stream breaks, anyone can get on the list and come over.
With the club out there, right?
Are you leaving after the stream?
I don't know yet.
Four
Probably
clubs.
later. Something like that.
What, king,
Pairs,
red,
board,
king, queen.
four clubs.
Or like fire jacks.
Takes it down.
Oh wow. Or an ace.
I thought for sure you had a king. You opened up, right?
You would think, yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
What, that last game? At 10-9.
10-9.
10-3. 10-3 actually would be.
That's a good hand.
Offsuit.
10-3 is a great hand, dude.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, that's one of my favorite hands. My favorite non-premium hand was 10-3.
Got a raise from Rick and a 3-bet from Manny.
10-3 offsuit.
That is bizarre as can be.
These two have been going at it all night.
So I played it for the viewers at home.
They'll see a flop heads up. Queen Jack 5 all hearts. Rick does have the 4 of hearts and an a gut shot for Manny.
I believe you.
$400.
Manny bets and quick fold from Rick.
How are
I
you?
believe you, buddy.
And you would have snapped.
Good.
No.
Great. How about you? We moved to crunch.
I want to thank everybody again who has been with us live, who have hopped in the chat. Uncle T and I very much appreciate it. I'm Kyle Frisbee, KW Frisbee on Instagram.
What were you at before?
Post some poker
You're at 41
content.
when he was 67? That still
Quite
takes
often.
so long. 'Cause we were pretty far into the stream. So you'd have to play like every hand to really
a while.
This will be the final hand of the night.
Pictures from the bathroom. You got
Double board PLO bomb pot.
Yeah.
Greedy boy.
Please give the channel or the video a like or subscribe to the channel.
Just a feeling. Me, no way.
No chance.
No
We
chance.
will be
Man,
back
you're
with you
going
next
never put the
Wednesday
whole
for
stack
the
in your
VPIP game.
Yeah, it's possible.
Never, ever, ever.
Check.
Always a wild time with Modelo Poppy and friends. And what a final hand for Just James. He has flopped a set of jacks on both boards. Nuts on top. Does lose to 9-8, which Bones has on the bottom. And he has bet it 150 over to Just James. Just James will flat.
Welcome.
There he is.
Ronnie will call also with 9-8. This is the
He's
risk
probably cussing
of
and
playing
listening
a
to his radio.
straight in a bomb pot,
Yeah, in the car.
particularly on the flop. Going to be getting quartered relatively frequently.
Oh no! I pray that didn't really happen. We might be
Optimize
like,
also
joking
making the
about
call.
that.
Play some like hardcore metal music or something.
Yeah.
5 of spades and queen of spades on the turns. That'll give Bronny a flush draw. Bronny actually will get there with a flush draw as, oh, excuse me, just James gets there with a flush.
Bad right now. I check.
And
I
Bronny
played so
has
bad. I
made
had the nut straight, and then I turned
Everybody
it
a
has
straight
I got enough.
I
and just
flopped it.
a
I played
terrible
so
run
bad.
out
But you were dead on it.
for just James.
I
Thought
was
he
dead on
might
the
have a
flop. The
scooper.
nut straight.
Yes.
As it stands,
Everybody
he
has
will
a
chop it up
Oh,
with
we all had
Bronny
a straight.
250
Stop playing.
added
I got
to-
the straight
to
down here,
their
big dog.
win totals.
What you got? What you got? What you got?
I don't think I
Fold
Yeah, I
it.
know.
Fold it.
In a moment,
Fold it.
we'll show you the final tallies.
Here you go. That's what I'm talking about, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Dang, I could have stacked you probably.
So on the turn, I could have got all you to
Probably
fold.
not on the turn.
So bad.
What?
So as promised,
Bones had nuts with replay.
final tallies
Max
at the bottom
value.
of your screen. It has been the night of bones. There has been some meat on those bones. He wins over 4K. Bronny also in the win column 2.5. Just James
You got
2.4.
top sit.
Rick just under 2K. Optimize after an early
And I thought I was
big
playing.
bump in the road. It turns a $1,700 profit. Great night for him.
I want to draw a call.
Playing those suited connectors masterfully. We will be back with you, as mentioned, next Wednesday for the VPIP Island game. Player gets voted off with the lowest VPIP every hour.
Love Bob.
Always a ton of fun. We'll let you guys go for tonight. I am Kyle Frisbee. He's Uncle T. This has been TCH Live from Austin, Texas. Have a great night, everybody.